各位亲爱的网友朋友，大家好。
Hello everybody, how are you?
今天呢，我们这个话题比较有意思哈。
Today we have a
做
very
梦的事儿，
interesting topic.
梦见亲人
It's about
遇难
interpreting
的这
dreams.
样的梦，
Family, we dream of
遇到
members
亲人遇
in
难，
crisis.
这是有什么寓意呢？
What does it
我们
mean?
慢慢的说哈。哎，觉真，
Let
你
us
肯定有
slowly
问题。
explain.
我是带来了这个梦见这样
觉真
的梦的故事啊，哈，
哦，好。
对，师傅我跟大家分享一下。
Let me share with you this
这
story,
个呢是
Master.
网友小伟带来
The
的。
first
梦见
online
外公的
friend
房子着
shared
火了，你
that
看
the
这个
grandfather's house was on
火灾
fire.
他说
This
尊
is
敬
by
的师傅
Xiao
您
Wei.
好，
Say, dear
哥哥
Master,
大我2岁，
my brother is 2 years older than me.
医生诊
When he
断
was
说
young, the
他
doctor
的精子
diagnosed
成
that the
活率
sperm survival rate
很
was
难
low
怀孩子。
and it was
我
difficult
嫂
for
子
him to
呢年轻
conceive.
的时候呢
When my
有严
sister-in-law
重的
was
肾
young,
炎，
she
血
had
有3个甲
several
号，我妈都
had
曾经
3
劝她抱
pulse
养一
sign
个
in
就算
blood
了。
in the urine.
后
My
来呢，
mom
我
even
教嫂
persuaded
子
them to
修
adopt a
帮
child.
念佛
Later, I
拜
taught
教
my
祖，
sister-in-law
修了2-3年，
to cultivate
每一天呢都
and
修1个半
chant.
小时。
My
当时呢，
sister-in-law
因为
has
弟
been
媳妇生第一胎时有
chanting
点难产，
for
我
2
就
to 3
请嫂
years,
子和我
1.5
一起
hour a
念
day.
地
At
藏
that
经
time, because my
给弟媳妇祈
sister-in-law have
福。
difficult
我们
in
呢本来
labor
计划念
when she
7
gave
天
birth to
的
her
地藏
first
经，
child.
结果
I
呢，
told my
嫂子就从
sister-in-law
计划中
to
的7
read
天
the Earth
一
Store
直
Bodhisattva
念到了
Sutra,
7 7
and I
49
prayed
天。
for my
没
sister-in-law
想到
together.
又过
As
了
I
10
said,
几天，
she
嫂子
chanted
发现就
the
怀孕了。当时呢，医生说
sutra for
嫂子怀
several
孕
days.
之
After
后
reciting
6
it
个月，
once a
肾脏
day,
就会
she
受不了，
continued to
因为是有
recite.
肾炎嘛。
At that
没
time, the
想到
doctor
呢，
said that my
嫂子
sister-in-law
居
was
然
pregnant
平
for
安
more than
怀
5
孕，
to 6
一直
months.
到9
Her
月，
kidney
而
was not
且
able
生
to
产了我的
bear
孙
it.
女。
I didn't
更
expect
没
my
想到的
sister-in-law
是7年多以
to
后，
have a
嫂子
safe
又生了一个
pregnancy for
儿
full
子。
term,
那
and she
我这
gave
个
birth
侄女
to
呢，
my
从小有
niece.
点体弱
So
啊，
even
她小的时候
more
呢，有腹股
unexpectedly,
沟的疝气，
after 7
天
years,
天
my
呢一起
sister-in-law
哭，
gave birth to another
哭
son.
呢，那个疝气就更
My
更
niece
出
was
来
very
了，
frail since she
哭
was a
得哇
child
哇
and
大
had
叫。医
problem.
生说
The
腹
doctor
股
said
沟
that
疝气不能
if you
哭，
couldn't,
如果连
that you
续
shouldn't
几个
cry
小
if
时
she have
就会没命的。
inguinal
有一次呢，侄女哭
hernia.
个不
If
停，
you cry for a
只
few
差2
hours,
个
you will
小时
die.
就到了医生说
So
要
when
没
my
命的时
niece
候了。
cried
当时
non-stop,
情况很紧急，
it was only
我就
2
让
hours
嫂子
before the
播放
doctor
要
said she
是
would
我心
die.
咒。
So at that
当
time,
时呢，
we were
把电
very,
话听筒放
very
在侄女
scared.
的
And I asked my
腹股沟上，
sister-in-law to
我
pray the
在电
medicine
话
Buddha
机里
mantra
为她祈请师傅
and
加
put the
持。
telephone receiver
加
on
持
my
完，我
niece's
问嫂
ear
子
so that she
侄
can
女还
hear.
哭吗？怎么样了？嫂子
And
说
they
已
cried,
经睡着
did
了，
my
没
niece
事
still
了。
cry? I asked my
从
sister-in-law.
那
She
次
said,
以
oh,
后
she
呢，
have already
侄女
slept.
长大到现在
Since then,
再也
my
没有
niece
发
has
过
never
腹
had
股沟疝
the
气，
problem
当然
anymore.
就更不用做手术
So
了。
she didn't even have to
那
go
我
through
这个侄子
surgery.
侄女呢，都是佛缘
My
深厚，
nephew and
都
niece were
很喜
deeply
欢听师
attached
傅
to
讲课。
Buddhism and
侄
like to
子
listen to
今年才
Master's
6岁多。
lectures.
今
My
天
nephew
上
was
午
over
一起
6 years
听
old
师
this
傅
year.
讲课的时
When
候，
we listened to
他突
Master's
然对我
lecture
说：
together this
姑姑，
morning, he
我
suddenly
昨
said
天
to me,
晚上做
Auntie,
梦
I
哭
cried
了，你知道吗？
in my dream
我
last
问他
night.
你
Do you
做了
know?
什么
And I
梦
asked him,
啊？
what
怎么
kind
会
of dream
哭
did you
啊？
have? Why
他
were you
说
crying?
我梦见外
He
公房子
said,
着火
I dreamt
了，
that my
妈妈也在里
grandfather's
面，
house was on
被淹
fire.
死了。
My mom was
我说
inside
啊，
and she
你妈
was
妈
killed
被
by the
水淹
smoke.
死了呀？他说不是，是房
I
子
said,
着火了，
what
妈妈
happened?
也在里面，
Said
很
it
多
was
烟，
fire, my
妈
mom
妈
was
被
inside
烟
and there
熏
were a
死
lot
了。
of smoke.
我很害怕，
So
就
she
吓
was
哭了。
killed
我
because
现
of the
在还好
smoke. I
怕。
was so scared.
他说
I'm
的
still
妈妈
scared
就是我
now,
嫂
he
子
said.
呀，他外公就
His
是我嫂
mother
子
is
的
my
爸爸，
sister-in-law,
而嫂子的爸
and
爸
his
呢，
grandfather
正好
is my
是今年
sister-in-law's
7月
father.
28号刚刚过
And my
世，
sister-in-law's
往生
father just
刚刚
passed
才
away
半个
on the
月。
28th of July this
那
year,
我联
just
想
2
到师
weeks
傅
after
最
his
近
death.
上课讲的内容，
Thinking
这
of
个
what
梦
Master
可能
have
不
mentioned
是
in
一
his
个好的
recent
寓
class,
意。
I know that this
那
dream
祈
is
请师
not
傅解
has
梦，
doesn't have a
感
good
恩大慈
connotation.
大悲的师傅。
So after that, I hope that Master can help
有什么感觉？
to
这个梦
save
就是亲
him.
人遇难嘛，哈，对对对，而且是在他的就是这个小孩子6岁，
So when the
梦见
child
了
was
他外
6,
公的房子
6 years
着火，
old,
外
she
公
dreamt
刚
that
刚
the
逝世半个
grandfather
对，刚刚离世了，其实
house was on fire, but actually it means that the
这个外
grandfather
孙
just
子
passed
就
away
梦见自己的家着火
within
了，
half a
外
month.
公的家着火了，
结果他妈还
结果
在里
妈妈
头。
熏死
And
在
the
里头，
mom
是
was still
其实就是
inside and
这
she
个
was
梦，
smoked
对不
to
对？
death.
是的，
完了孩子吓哭了，
对，
哎，
And
这
the
是
child
什么
become
寓
very
意呢？
scared
首先分
as
析
a
啊，
result.
这是好啊
So
还是不好
let's
啊？
analyze, is this a good
自
dream?
己要是
感觉不太好
梦见亲人这样会非常不好，感觉，
对，
It doesn't
还有
feel
呢，
good.
这个时间点也不好，
And the
对
timing is
外
not
公
good
刚
too,
刚走了半个月，
because the
就
grandfather
梦
just
见妈
passed
妈熏死在
within
那个
half a
屋里
year.
啊，
而且还是外公的家，还是有关联的。
It's all
对。
interrelated. The place is
那关键
grandfather's
是
house.
他讲到细节哈，就妈妈是被着火里面的烟
熏死的。
而且他这么大的孩子，可能没有说着火
So
海里面有
she
烟的这
mentioned
个
that
概念，
the mother
一般
was
是没
died
有这个
because
概
of
念
the
的，他
smoke.
年龄小了，
For this
6
child,
岁
he's still young.
对，
He
应
doesn't
该
know that
这
when
个概
there
念
is
是应
fire,
该很
there will be a
弱，
lot of smoke.
可是他做的这么细节哈，
But because she can mention about the dream in
觉
such
得会怎么
detail,
样呢？这个妈妈会
what does this
会有危
mean? What will happen to the
这个
mother?
妈妈呢，她
会
年轻
出什么事儿？
的，对她年轻的时候就是肾就是不好嘛，
When the
身体
妈
mother
妈
was
本来肾就
young,
不好，
对，
对
she
严重
doesn't
肾
have
炎
good
对
kidney.
非常
对，她就因为修了师傅的法，
Her
很
mom
慢性就生了
had
一
good
儿一
kidney
女
problem,
已
and
经是阿
because
弥陀
she
佛感恩师傅了，对
cultivate
不得了了
master's
真是
但
master's
生了孩子之后也
method,
是忙忙叨叨带
she
孩子，
improved.
就没有继续坚持修行了。
And after she have children,
孩
she
子
was
现在都6、7
busy
岁了，
with
就做了
her
这样一个
child,
梦。
so she have no time to practice after
这
that.
本来身体就不好，
对，
那这
So
个
to
通常
begin
说
with, her
烟
health
给
wasn't
熏
in a
死了
very
就
good
是烟呛
condition.
的啊。那么通常让我们就会想到，可能
So
容
we
易
may think
一般这
that
种情况下发病
in such
的
a situation,
这种对于身体来
部
说，
位啊，
如果对，比如说是发病的话，就可能与
呼吸道，
呼吸相关的。
if it's something related to
但是那你
health,
说
it could be
这个人
related
他本来
to
是有
the
肾脏的
breathing,
是
the
他怎么
respiratory
会
system.
遇到与
But
呼
this
吸
person
相
had
关
kidney
的将来的
problem.
病，或者是要命的事情发
Why
生
would
呢？
it be something
像这
related
样
to
的
the
梦就是有
respiratory
所指
system?
向性的。我觉得可能与呼吸道、
I felt that it could be
气管
related
肺、
肺
to
还有
the
心脏
lung, to the
有关系
respiratory
的
system,
这样的
健康问题，
健康灾难。
to the heart,
哎呦，
对，那是着火，
something that's
我们都知
related
道
to
叫
this.
水火无情
And
嘛。
because
对
we
就
talk
当一
about
个房子
fire,
着起火
we
来
know
的
that
时候啊
fire,
那就通常救都来不及。
when a
可能
house is on
很快屋子
fire,
就
it's
烧
very
光
difficult
之后这个房子就塌掉了，对吧？
to save it.
哎，
Usually they
就是
will
很激烈，
burn the house off very quickly
非常快。
and the house will be destroyed. It happened very
对
quickly.
所以的话，这个梦中的寓意就是说，
So from this dream,
这个外公的房子
it
是
could mean
外
that the
公家的
grandfather's
基业。
house
那妈妈当然是来自于
is like his
外
career,
公这个家把他生养长大的。
his home.
我觉
So
得
the
是那
mom
面
came
的
from the grandfather's
业力
place. So it could be their
能量
accumulated
好的差不多
karma,
了。
the energy,
好的能量，
对，
the
但是
good
表现
energy
在
have already
孩子说的妈
almost
妈的
used
身
up.
上。
哦，
但是呢，幸好还是
That's why
妈
it
妈
may
之前
reflect
说我
on the
们的
mother.
法
But
号
luckily, the
本
mother
来是严重的肾病嘛，
used
说
to
这个都不可能
practice from
生孩
us.
子。
对，
可
She
是
had
生了
very
一儿
bad
一女
kidney problem. The
可
doctor
是呢，这
say
个
that
做梦
it's
的呢，
pos-
正是
impossible for her to have
她生了
children.
孩子梦到这
But
个
she
情
have
况。
children
通
in
常
the
她
end
准确
because
性
she
更
practiced
强
our method.
对，那这位妈妈呢，就有可能会应
And
验
so
到
maybe the
一个
mom
是叫做这是一种火宅，就是我们讲的佛经之中讲的火宅的寓
in
意
the
啊，
Buddhism, this could
对
mean something related
就
to
是
fire.
很激烈的。这里面这个房子很危险，那这个房子是谁家的呢？
The
就
house
是
is in
外公
danger.
家的。
And whose house is
那么
this?
这
It's
个业来自
grandfather's
于外公
house.
家，
So
受害的
this
是
karma
她
could
的
comes
妈妈，
from the
就是外公的
grandfather's
女儿。
house. But
对，
because the mom is
那
a
么表
daughter,
现在
so she
就
may
可
be
能与
affected.
呼吸还有心脏相关的这
So
些
it could be related
问题
to
上
her breathing or her heart.
那我觉得就是一定要，有时候你小心都没有用。
So I feel that
就是这
sometimes
种
it's
灾
very
难来的时
difficult
候
even
不
if
是
you
说
are
我今
very
天小心
careful.
点，比如说
So
有
when
算命先生
crisis
说你这
occurs,
个23
it's not
日
that
可
you
能
say, "Oh, I'll be
有大
very
灾
careful."
对说我不出门那一
There are
天，
persons say,
不出
"Oh,
门
on
结
this
果
day
在
you may
家里
have
摔死了。
problem." So you say,
是
"Okay,
一
I
个
don't go
早
out
上
on
厕
that
所
day."
一不小心一滑，
But you
那
never
就摔了。
know. Maybe
那
he
有
goes
人
to
听
the
我这么
toilet,
讲
it
好，
was
我把厕
slippery,
所
and
都
he
包
could
好
have
了，哎，
have
不是
fall
厕所
down.
出事儿啊，
对他可能觉得厨
So
房
it
出
could be
事儿
anywhere. If it's not the
啊，
bathroom,
对
he could.
就是
The problem
这就
may
说吧
happen in
哈
the
这老
kitchen. It
天
could
如
be
果让你
anywhere.
走的时候，
So if
你
it
你
is
可能
time
没有
for
什
a
么
person
预
to
算，你打
leave,
你自己就死了呢，这是
it
正
just
常的。
happens naturally,
就是
no matter
真的
where
你
you
到
are.
医生那儿问问，看是这个病是怎么表现出来都有。并不是说直白的受了伤害人才会死啊。
So it doesn't mean that the
什么事儿
person
都
will
没
be
有
hurt and they will
就
pass
死了。
on. It
所
could
以有
be
人
that
正在
there's
那讲
nothing,
演
but the
讲着
person
讲着
just
嘣
pass
就倒
on.
下去了，大家以为是他是在
Like a person is
做个
walking and
做个秀
finally
做个
fall
表
down.
演
People may
结
think
果
that
真死在当场哈。
对，
they are acting, but they may die on the spot.
所以呢，这位妈妈就
These are all very common, so the mom have to be very careful. I say to be
但是提醒他小心
careful.
是指什么呢？
But what do I
通常
mean when I say
就像咱
to
们
be
学经
careful?
一样哈，你这是要做功德。
That means you have to do more good merits.
这个火太旺，
The
对不
fire
对？本
in
来你
your
这个肾脏疾病不应该生宝宝的，
father's place is too strong. For your illness, you shouldn't have children, but you have one son and a daughter, you have 2 kids.
就是但是你的这个业来说，可
But
能也
because
许不
your
该生，但
karma
是生就生了。
is
修得
that you
好了
shouldn't have
那么之
children.
后你要做功
So
德
because you practice, you have
做功德
children, but
让自己
after that, you
充
have to
满了就是
continue
这
to
个
do
基础的
merits
能量，
so that you
支撑
can
着
have
你
the
和你所生的
foundation for your
孩子
good
啊
energy
能够健康地
so that your
存在下
children
去
and you can
哎
be
你就应该去做
healthy
功德。
and have a
哎
smooth
就是点
journey in
灯啊
life.
发心呐
So you have to
祝福金
continue
身
to
呐
do good
包括帮
merits,
人呐哈
like
这些
help
都是做
people
功德
to
对
build
这
Buddha
样可能来
statue.
说才对你真有帮助。但
So
是我
only
想呢
this
你这个梦告
will
诉
you
我
be
们
able
呢
to help you.
就说明可能是有得救的希望啊。
对，感
因
恩
为
So in
师
your
父
毕
dream,
竟
it
那件
shows
事还
that
没有直白地
you
发
may
生
be
出来
helped
是，
啊
对，
because
所以
the
呢我们就这
thing
样提
haven't
醒
really
你
happened. So
啊
I'm just reminding
对
you.
大概就这样子。
好，感恩师傅
感恩师，父
对。对，所以提醒网友
Thank you,
们也是，虽
Master.
然说这些
So
灾
we're
事我
reminding
们
our
很
online
难
friends,
小心去躲避啊，
although it's very
但是
difficult for
还是
us
有
to
这一招
escape
很灵的，就是做功德。
all this
还是
crisis,
可以
but it's
做
still
供
very
养
important
对
that we
还是
continue
大事化小，逢凶化吉
to do good
哎还
merits.
是很起了作用的。
对，
It
并
does
不
help
是
the
说所有的
situation.
梦到亲人死了就一定是灾难。
Not all
有些梦
dreams
的
when we
亲人
dream
死
of
哈
our
它
family
是
members who
反
die,
义
it doesn't mean
反
that
而
it's
是
all
最近
bad.
很健康。
嗯，
有一种是这样子的。
Some may be
但是
opposite,
刚才我们讲的这个梦哈，
but this
还是
dream
它
that
的
we
指向性太
mentioned,
强了。
对对对，
对，这个是就不
everything
太
point
吉
too strongly
对
that it is something
因为有
really
些做梦自己
negative.
的亲人死，他没有这些细节。
Some
哎就
people,
叫
when
那
they
叫
dream
不
of
醒
their
了，这个
family
梦中
members
觉
who
得叫不
pass
醒
on,
了
they do
叫
not
不醒
have
了
all
就
this
说他死了
detail.
也没有其他的那么多的细节的
凶险啊，
讯息
不。好啊，
They
对，
don't
没有
have all
其他
this
的信息
information on
这
the
种反
detail
而
of
是
how a person
梦
died.
到死的这个人呢，反而是吉祥长寿的意思。
是健
So
康，是好
对
in
的
such cases,
哦
the person
它分
who they dream die.
同样是亲
May
人
be
去世哈
auspicious
它不是说都是一种坏的兆
So
头
although
不一
everybody
定哈。
they
所以
dream
它是
about
不一样
family members
嗯
pass
是来为
on,
我们
but
解
it doesn't
读
mean that
才
all
能
are bad.
对，
师傅，那这个小伟也是挺好的哈，他也是
So 小伟
帮他的嫂嫂啊练
It's
功
very
啊
nice.
这
She
样
helped
子哈
her
而且也
sister-in-law
是去
to
诵念地藏经
practice
这次我跟我
and to
们分享了
chant
这
the
个故
Upsal
事
Bodhisattva
啊师傅要不要我
Sutra.
们也送给他一个八
So
宝灵
Master,
珠
shall we give
送
him
哎，师傅
a
这个嫂子她要
eight
避灾难
treasure
要
哎
bless
那
beads?
这样就给小伟，
嗯
给这个嫂子
嫂子，
So we'll give
啊
Xiao Wei
还有
两个
and
小朋友
her
还两个小朋友，
sister-in-law and the
然后就
two
4颗呀
children
行不
中中，
中
4
谢谢
beads
师
all
傅
together.
嗯， 4颗珠子哈。
嗯
4 beads.
好，祝愿小伟、你嫂子、你们全家哈都能如意吉祥，
May Xiao Wei, your whole
逢
family be
凶化吉
auspicious
啊，长命百岁。
收到，
感
感恩师
恩师傅
and live a
傅。
long life.
好，那师傅，
嗯
接下来我也想跟师傅分享一
Avoid
位网友
calamities
程云他的梦。
Okay, Master, I'd like to share another story
有点神秘。
是
about a coffin
师傅好
car.
弟子前天晚上
Hello,
做了一个
Master.
比较灵异
I had
的
a
梦
rather
梦
supernatural
中
dream
女儿
last night.
好
In
像
my
还是
dream,
6、7岁
my
的
daughter
样
was
子。
still 6 or 7
我当
years
时在
old.
梦中似乎很
I
忙，
seemed to be
不知道
busy
把女儿临时送到哪
and
里
had to
去代管。
temporarily send my
后来
child to
想起
another
就要赶
place
紧
for
去
the
接
time
她。
being. Later,
接
I
到了以
remembered that
后
I
呢，
should
女儿
rush
突
to
然
pick her up.
跑到另外一个地方，
And after
跑
that,
的速度还很快。
after I
我
pick
来
up
不
my
及叫
daughter, she
停，
ran
她
so
已经不
fast,
见了踪影。我
and
就
I
拼命地
couldn't
喊她的名
stop
字，
her on time,
只看见
and
那
I
个
couldn't
地
find her.
方
I
是
keep
一
shouting
格
her
一
name.
格
I
的，
can only remember
一
the
片
place was
白蒙蒙的，
separated
我不敢走
from each
近，
other
女儿也没有
by
回应。
cube.
我转
Everything
身
was
发
white.
现
I don't dare to
一辆
approach
类
it,
似
and my daughter
板
didn't
车的
respond.
车子，但是看不
And
见
then I
轮子，
saw
也是
a
白色的，
a
上
white
面盖
car.
着的布也是白色的，
It
但
is
是
white.
那
The
块
wheels
白
were
布似乎
missing.
是悬空的，板车在往
There's
外
also
走。
a cloth, a white
后
cloth
面
covering,
竟然还
and
牵
it's
着一个白
floating
色
in the
小人
air.
儿，
Then
小
there was
人
a
儿戴着
little
一
white
顶小
man
白伞
behind
帽
him.
子。
The
小
little
人一
man
边飘着
was
走，
wearing a
一边
small
看着
white
我。
umbrella
我
hat.
站在那里，
The
完
little
全不懂
man
是怎么
looked at
回
me
事，
as if,
心里
and
失
he
望
floated
极
away.
了。
I stood there,
后来回到
completely
家中
ignorant of what to do and was extremely disappointed. Later, when I got home, I saw my daughter. She came back, and she's not 6 years old anymore. She's suddenly 27 years old as she is right now, wearing white clothes. But I also found that my daughter's back is injured because there was some white. She was wearing white clothes with black and red stripes. And I woke up. After having this dream, my heart is very uneasy. I pray to Master for blessing and protection. My daughter has been working in Shanghai for more than half a year now. And in July last year, she discovered she has embryonic tumor in her ovary and it had to be removed. She broke up from her boyfriend in June this year and fell into depression for a while. My daughter is very stubborn and wouldn't listen to me or Master's teaching. What should I do? May Master guide me. And thank you, Master. Yeah, this dream doesn't sound good and it sounds scary too. Okay, so let's recall what she mentioned. She dreamt of her daughter back at her 6-7 years old time. And she go and pick up her daughter and the child ran away. And she saw a white cart. And there was no wheels, but yet it was moving. There was no wheels, but it was still floating. And there was a white cloth on the cart. And it was also floating on the cart. And there was a white man. Everything is white. And the white man is also floating and wearing a white umbrella hat. So the mom felt disappointed because she didn't see her daughter. She saw this scene. And the second part, the daughter, suddenly in her dream, she saw that her daughter become 27 years old in the present, and she's wearing white. And through the white clothes, you could see that there's some injuries at her back. And she woke up. And her daughter's current situation is not good too. Last year she had a surgery done to remove a tumor. And she broke up with her family, she's in depression, and she doesn't listen to her mom or Master's teaching. If this is acted in a movie, it seems pretty scary. A white cart. It means it's a white wooden cart. And on top of that, there's white cloth, and they're all floating. And a little man wearing white, and they are all floating. We only mentioned that only spirit will float, right, Master? So when we analyze on the cart, there's a cloth. So when the cart, that means it's here to fetch something. And the cloth is floating. You don't see you can't see what's underneath the cart. What do you think the cart is pulling? Usually a cart is to pull a corpse. And on top is a white cloth. White cloth means that the person is dead and then you cover it with a white cloth. But you didn't see what is underneath the white cloth. And it's floating, the white cloth is floating. So what does it mean? It seems that it's waiting for somebody to go into underneath the white cloth. Let's just talk about the dream, analyze the dream. We don't put our emotion in there. We just analyze it from what we hear. Okay, we just interpret the dream as what we hear, what we see. So this part of the dream is not good. And after that, she dreamt of her daughter, who is 27 years old, which is her current age. And she's wearing a white clothes. So it's white again. And this white is not good because she can see that her back, there are injuries on her back. So what does it mean? That means she's sick. When it's red and black injury, red you can see it as normal injuries, the usual injuries, but what's black color? It could be some bad karma before her. And this mom also mentioned that the girl was not in a good health. She had her embryonic tumor removed. So with this surgery, it's very bad for her body. It may also affect her chance of conceiving in future. And she's in depression because she just broke up with her boyfriend. So overall, when we look at this whole information, there's her health issue in her life, and her boyfriend have really left her. So mentally, she already feel very upset. And on top of that, the mom had this dream. It is really bad on her. I can only say, like what Buddha say in the sutra, she have to do good merits. When a crisis is coming, it doesn't mean that today I just make a sword or chant to help. All these are temporary measures. In order to really help a person, it is through good merits. Master, you mentioned before that all these merits is something that we can use to communicate. It's like a media to communicate with Buddha. So if we do not have the merit, there's no way we can communicate with Buddha. So in order to help this person, you have to change the fate of this person. It's not easy to change one's fate. Like what I mentioned previously, if a person wanted to strike lottery because his business is going to be listed in the market, and I said, you have to come and do some good merit. They don't believe in me. Because from what I see from the person's fate, the person doesn't have such good fortune. He doesn't look like those who have such good fortune. And so, what does it mean from a look? Does it mean rich people have their look? A rich person look? Yes. A rich person does have their look so that they can accumulate all this wealth. So from the person that I see, there's no way the person can have good fortune based on his look. So, as I mentioned, a few years later, he was cheated by someone. So we are talking about this person's fate. So his business went to the market and was doing well, but he was cheated. So it's just like the animal kingdom. Are the fish in the river safe? They are not safe because the bear will eat the fish. The big fish will eat small fish too. And there are viruses. And also like drought. So when a fish in a river, they are not safe. What about fish in the sea? Are they safe? When we look at the fish from the sea that we keep in our aquarium, are they safe? They are pretty, but if we put them in the sea, are they safe? No, they are not safe. And who will eat them in the ocean? Fish will eat fish in the ocean. Usually, the big fish will eat the small fish. But sometimes, the small fish can eat big fish too. So what am I saying is that in every level, all living beings have their crisis. So we never know when our crisis will occur. So this orange crowd, online friends, this dream that she dreamed of is not auspicious. It doesn't mean that whatever we do can help her. She still have to accumulate her good merit so that she can have longevity, happy in marriage life, a good fortune. So it not only means that the person can be alive, the person can enjoy good fortune too, can enjoy longevity, can enjoy a blissful family life, have children. So all this have to be supported by a foundation. So this online friend, you have to do more good merit so that you and your family and your precious daughter can be healthy and auspicious, enjoy longevity and be safe.
我还想补充一下，
Thank you, Master.
因为他这个女儿哈，
I like to add on, Master, because the daughter is 27 years old. She's an adult now.
你看身体也不健康，
But
这个情绪又受
her
挫，
health is not healthy, and emotionally she's hurt.
解脱的方法的，
So she doesn't have a
不然的话
method
她也
to
不会
help
情绪这种
herself,
压抑
or
嘛
else she
她妈
wouldn't
呢又给她推荐，就是说，哎，你听
be
一听师傅的
depressed.
开示啊，
Her mom
心灵上
already
这
told
个
her
能
to
够
maybe
通
listen to
达一些哈
Master's
她又不听，
teaching, but
所
she
以其
refused
实
to
这个
listen.
也，哎，就可怜这孩子吧，就是都这样了，但是又没什么出路，自己又不去
So
寻
it's
求
very pity
所
that
以
the
这个
girl is
妈妈
already in
呢
such
就
a
多
bad
为
situation,
只
but
能是
she
妈妈
refused
多
to
为孩子
listen.
做功德，
So
但
probably
是
the
我们
mother
学了
have
地
to
藏
do
经呢
go
也
more
是，
good merits
你为
for
别人
her
做功德
daughter.
的话呢，
But
那
what we
孩子只
learn
能得到
from
1/7，
the
妈得
Earth
到
Store
6/7，
Sutra,
真不如这孩子自己。
when
多做
mom
功
do
德，
good
多做
merits for
善
her,
事，自己
the
救
mom will
自己
have
的命，自己保自己的命。
70% and
真
the
的就是
person can
还
only
是希
receive
望承认这个
30%.
孩子
So
呀
it's still
能够
good
有
that
个
she
善
can
缘
help
哈，这个
herself
我们也为你祈
to
请，
do
真的
more
是
good
这
merits.
份心。
We really
那
hope
实
that
在
she
不
have
行，
this
反正
kind heart in
成年
her
之前
to
你就
do good
多给孩
merits.
子做功德吧，1/7
If her
也好
daughter
啊，
still
多做，
refuse to do
这样不就
anything,
多了吗？
then maybe
这
the,
是挺
the
感慨
mom
的。
can
其实
continue
妈
to
妈
do
做
more
功
good
德，我
merits
相信
for
妈妈
her.
如果坚持为孩子做功德，孩子可能会慢慢的开悟。
I believe that when the
慢
mom
慢地这样
continue to
也
do
积
good
累这个
merit for
善
the
缘
daughter, the daughter will
对
improve.
对，
对，就是有个积累的这样的一个量
She-
啊。
对。
对，等做多
Yeah, we are
了，
talking about
这些发
accumulated
现很难
merits.
沟通的孩子，
So
他
of
自
course,
己
the
已经
more
就
she
开
do,
了
对
the better the
是
child will
真的
be.
所以程韵师姐赶紧做功德，真的，
是
So please do more
相
good
信师姐
merits.
听懂了。
好的，
也请师傅送他一个
Okay,
送
Master, please give her the 8 treasure
是
auspicious beads.
这孩子最需要了。
对，
The child need this.
孩子还小不懂事嘛。
The child is young and doesn't know.
送你2颗八宝灵珠
Can
哈
I，give you
祝
2
你们娘俩
beads?
都能健康长寿。
May
如
both
意
you
吉
and
祥
your
收
daughter
到，感恩师
enjoy
傅。
longevity, auspiciousness,
师傅，
and
接下来
safe.
还是一位妈妈做的梦啊。
Okay,
这个
Master,
是
this is
陈女
another
士
dream
她是
by
梦中
Madam
大
Chen.
儿子遇难。
She
我们
dreamt
来
of her
听一下
eldest son.
师傅好，我是在3个月前做了个梦，
Hi,
梦到
Master.
大
I
儿子在一
dreamt
所山上
3 months
上
ago
学
that my
我
eldest
去找
son
他
was
看到儿子后呢，
went to a
突
school
然
on a
山体
mountain.
滑
I
坡
went to look for
山泥
him,
全
and
都滑了下来。我拉着
after
儿子
seeing him, there
赶
was
紧
a
躲起来
landslide and all the
但
mud
还是
slid
有
down.
山
I
泥
grabbed my
压住
son
了
and hid,
山
but
泥
the
都已
mud
经堆
still
到他的
pressed
胸
on
口了
him.
这
They
个时候
piled
我
up to
就
his
惊醒
chest,
了。
and I suddenly
那
woke up.
今年的8月9号呢，我又
So
做了一个
on
噩梦，
the
梦
9th
中
of
我带
August, I
两
had
个儿
another
子去河
nightmare.
边玩，
I took my 2
河边
sons
呢
to
是
play
一
by
个
the
大山
river.
坡，
There was a
小
big
儿子呢踩着一
landslide
个
by
滑
the
板，
river,
从山
and
坡
my
上
younger
冲下
son stepped
河
on a
边。
skateboard
大儿
and
子呢
rushed
看见
from the
马上就想
hillside to
追
the
他，
river.
我
My
一惊，
eldest
然后
son
糟糕，
ran
他们
after
要掉到
him,
河里去，
and I
我
was
就马
shocked,
上
thinking
跑
that they
过
would
去想
definitely
拉
fall
住
into
他
the
们。
river. So I immediately
我一边
ran
跑
over,
呢，一
wanting
边
to
还
hold
喊我
them.
先生，
I
我
called
得
my
救孩
husband
子。
as I ran.
他
He
呢
was
在和别
chatting
人
with
聊天，也
others
没听到我
and
的
didn't
呼
hear
喊，
me
我
call.
什么也顾不上
I
了，
don't care about
奋力
anything
跳
at
入
that
河
time.
边，
I just
但还是赶不
quickly
上。
ran straight to
两
the
个孩
river
子
and
都
couldn't
掉下
catch
了
up.
河，
The
河
two
边围
children
了好
fell
多
down
人，
into the
说有
river.
人
There were a
掉
lot
下
of
去了，有
people
人掉下去
surrounding
了。
the river, and
我就
someone
站
was
在那儿
shouting
大
that
哭啊，
somebody fell
往河
down.
里看，
I was
看到河
crying.
里有人
And when I
在
looked in
看
the
我，我
river,
吓
I
一
saw
跳，
someone looking at
心想
me
哦，那
in
个
the
是帮
river.
忙
I
打
was so
捞孩子
shocked.
的人吧。
Then I was thinking
然后
maybe
呢，就
those
看
are
到
the
有人把小儿
rescuers.
子救上来
And then
了，
I saw that
他们
somebody
把小儿
saved
子
my
递
younger
给我，
son.
小儿子全身都湿透
They
了，我哭
They
着
sent my
把
younger
他
son to
身上
me,
的
and I
铁
was
链
crying.
都
He
拿
was
开
shocking
才抱
wet.
起他。
I
然后
took
梦又
all the
醒了。
the chains off his
醒了之后，
body,
我
pick
想
him up,
梦里只
and
见到
woke up
小
from my
儿子被
dream.
救起
After
来
I
了，
wake up, I
那
thought that
大
I only
儿子呢？
dreamt
所
of
以
my
我就
younger
特别担
son
心。
being
这2个
rescued.
梦
what about my eldest son? These two dreams, my eldest son was in danger and I couldn't sleep with anxiety all night because I was worried about him. I think Master would definitely be able to help us. And please, Master, may you guide our family and help us. This dream is very vivid too. There were two similar dreams. The first dream was landslide on the slope, and the son was buried in mud all the way to the chest. And the second dream, they fell into the river, and somebody saved the younger son. But the younger son was all chained up, but luckily they saved him. But there's no news on the eldest son, so the mom was really worried. Because these two dreams were made within 3 months. Master, please interpret this dream to see how we can help them. The difficult part about dream is because they are not real. And they are affected by many factors like they are tired or their emotions for the day. All this will affect their dream. But if the dream, the main point of dreams are very strong, and the mom dream about something related within such a short period of time, it does mean that we have to be more careful. First dream about the mud pressing the son all the way to the chest level, and the second dream is both the son fell into the river and the younger son was saved. So they also mention about chain. What does it mean? Why is there chain on the son after he's been rescued? So when we talk in a more spiritual way, scary way, usually when a person passes away, when they come and catch the spirit, they will put chain on the neck and pull the spirit away. So what does it mean? The scary part is the eldest son cannot be found. Because she knows that both sons fell into the water. Have the other one been caught, been pulled off? So this dream really sounds like that. Like the eldest son may be killed. This dream is very bad for the elder son, but it's also dangerous for the younger son because she was in chain, like wanting to pull her away. So it means the younger son is like being saved from the god of death. Both this child energy, life energy, is not very strong. It doesn't mean if they're physically strong, their life energy is strong. It is different. Some people, their life energy may be weak, but it doesn't mean that they have no muscle, they look weak physically. They don't. Some people may look very strong, very healthy on the outside, but it is different from the energy in their life. The life force energy is totally different. Like some people, you can see that they are so sick, but they can live a long life. Because his energy and his genes is totally different. He can live a long life. So the life force energy has something to do with our merit and our fate. They are two different things. So your merit is your foundation of good or bad, right? But what is fate? Like we can say maybe the fate angel will arrange for your life. Like for example, Kunti can live to 128 years old and became a very rich, wealthy lady. She has 18 relationships. She's very happy hearing this. Imagine if you are 80 years old and you are still as healthy as someone who is 30 years old. Of course, you will be in a relationship, right? You're full of charisma. You're attractive. It's the energy. Like in this life, what are your tasks in this life? What kind of people you will become? All these are about your fate. So your good merit plus your good fate, then you will have good life. Of course, not everybody will share the same fate. Some people
说他在人间这个命就是
In this life, the person's life is 28 years old. But it doesn't mean that it's bad because after 28 years old, he may reincarnate to another place to be a general. So remember we mentioned about 光目女's mother after she's being saved.
对
对，那么第一次呢13岁，
对
She have different life, right? The first life she lived till 13 years old,
对
so she became a
完
maid's
了之后呢，
child
等
in that
这
lifetime.
次转世来了之后呢，
And when she reborn again, the next life,
等再
she
去
live
世之后
100
才能成为天人
years old to be a cultivator. And the next life after that, she
就是说我们这
became
个功德
a
和命运也不是
heavenly
绝对
being.
相等，但是功德比较深厚的哈。
So
但是
marriage,
通常
when you
都
talk
是好
about
命好运
marriage, if your marriage
好
is
命好运
foundation is
和
very
绝对的
strong,
长寿也
you
不
will
是一回事。
usually have a good life.
对吧？
But
你的
good
一生
life
比如说你
and
活
having a long
假如说
life
我们
is
说某某人
different.
只活60岁，
Like some people may live 60 years old in this life, but throughout this 60 years old, he have a very smooth sailing, wealthy life, healthy
你
life.
说
So this is
说
good
非得活
too.
我要争取活80岁。
Does it mean that you have to
你
live
到
all the way to
60岁
80
开
years
始闹
old?
文革啊，完了之后就开始批斗你，批斗你，批斗20年。
But what if 60 years
平反
old
了
there's
你30
culture revolution
对吧
and then you
你说有没有
suffer
这样的
for the
人有
next
呀
being
平反的是我表舅就是
for the
这样
next 20
说过去做
years?
副县
Is
长
that good?
完了之后
Of course
没
there are
当
people
成副
like
县
that. I
长
have an uncle who
别
was
人
like
给
that.
这批斗批斗，在
He
农村
was
只是
being-
帮农民写信很开心。
So initially he was in the
对受
village.
苦啊
So he went to the village and have
后
to
来就
just
平
write
反了
letter
一平反骑这个自行车
for the
上任的路
villagers.
上
So he's suffering.
这一高兴，冠心病发作就
But
走了
later, when everything is back to normal after the culture revolution, so his life is back to normal. But after that, he passed on.
对不对？就这命啊！
So that's his life.
副县长候补
His life is to write letter for
这
others.
这有其名而无其实，从来没做过一天真县长，就是
He have never been
就是命。
a real magistrate.
对，
This
所以
is his
命
life.
运和你这个功德不完全相等。
So your
但是有
life
好的功德
and your
哈
merit
通常就有
are not
好的命运
related.
但是好的命运从
But with
天
good
界
merit,
和
you have good
和
life.
天界天人的看好命和一个个人认为的好命
But of
是
course,
不
it also
一样。
depends on perspective. From a heavenly being,
就光
the
咱
way
们
they
在
view
人
a
间
good
的
life
人
and
类
a
哈
human
到了
being
不同的
view
年
good
代
life
审
is
美还发
different.
生变化，
对呀
对吧？
Because even
哎
when we
你
talk
看我
about
记得有个小孩
when
就是
we
说
perceive beauty,
呃
even at different
这个
generation,
体
you
育
look
一
at
股思
beauty
甜
differently.
啊，就是北京一个小孩儿，小富孩儿。
I remember last time there was a
人
grandpa,
家都8岁
a
了，
rich
哎，
child.
也给你讲一些革
So the
命的
grandfather
传
told
统
this
教育哈
this grandson who was 8 years old, said, "Let me share with you some of the culture revolution
什么
things.
叫忘本呢？
Don't forget your roots." And then the child said, "What is the
爷爷当
roots?"
年
And the grandpa said, "Oh yeah,
吃
what
野
is
菜
roots?" So
真的是哇，
when grandpa was young, I eat wild
好
vegetable.
健康啊！
Then the grandson said, "Wow, wild vegetable,
爷爷
grandpa.
说你怎么回
It's
事
so
你为什么
healthy.
这么
They're so expensive
是
now."
有机的
And the grandfather
儿媳妇就说
say,
爸
"What
真
do
的
you
是
mean?
野菜越来越贵，
Wild vegetable means I have nothing to
时
eat.
代不同了。
I just pick
那孙子说
whatever."
你什么忆苦思
And
甜
the
你这不
daughter-in-law
气
say,
我
"Yeah,
是不是我
Grandpa,
光吃野菜
it
你
is
还
very
手给我
expensive
花钱
now.
呢还
They're
经常
very
让我吃个
rare
丸
now."
子他说他长成小胖子，对不对？说爷爷你哪这是苦
And they say,
啊？你这是
"Grandpa,
享福啊！
You didn't have
爷
a
爷你是
difficult life
身
when
在
you were
福中
young.
不知福。
You don't know how to enjoy. You don't know how to appreciate your good life when you were young.
还穿的裤子都
You
是
eat
漏
wild
洞的
vegetables. They are
现
all
在说哎呦
organic
太
and good."
潮了
多时髦啊！
And grandfather used to wear broken trousers, and the grandson said, "Wow, grandfather, you were so in fashion. Your pants have holes."
是
这怎么说这事儿啊？
So
对不
how
对
do you explain to the younger generation? Because fashion
从天
changed.
界和人界所认为的对和错、好
So
和坏，也不
The
太一
different
样。
perspective from the heavenly realm and human realm are also
是当我
pretty
们
much
功德
different.
深厚的时候，但是你的
So,
命运
but we
一定是
know
好
that
的
when you have a
通常这
very
个好
strong
命运呢
foundation
就是就是
of good
健康
karma,
对
good
长
merit,
寿
your life will be
富
good.
贵
You're enjoying good
有
health,
权利，还有
longevity,
爱情、家庭
wealth,
生活还是比较顺利，是不是啊？
and
子
have
女比较
status.
多
And your
啊
life
还
will
有
be
儿女
smooth
还挺
sailing.
乖
Your
能听
children, you may
话
have
还有有一番
children,
一番事业
and they listen to
哎
you,
哎这个
and the
富人
children
自
have
己有
good
所作为
career. The
就
wealthy
是这样
person also have
这就是
good
一般的好命嘛。
我们听着真的是
career
很
too, good path.
对对
对对
So
对
this is
但
a
是
good
一般
life.
多数的好命也
Generally,
都
this
是
is
这
what
样
we say as a good life.
可是呢，我们像刚才咱们讲的这个梦境哈，
But like what we mentioned in this Madam Chen's dream,
就我也担心，
it's very
我
worrying.
总想说些好话，
I wanted to say something good, but I
但是
cannot
我理
lie.
解上是确实不太吉
Because
祥
from what I understand from her
所
dream,
以
it's not
没有具体的
auspicious.
说法，只能说陈女士
I don't
为
have
你的孩子
anything
多
much to
做功
say
德吧。
except, Madam Chen, please do
这
more
是唯一
good
的出路。
merit for your
如果你
son.
读了地藏经，地藏经
This
整
is
个
the
贯彻的
only
就
way
是做
out
功德
when
你才能
you
好。
go and learn the Earthstone Bodhisattva Sutra. You will know that this is the only way out. I believe as Madam Chen, as a mom, she knows that it's very difficult to bring the two children up. The mom knows very well whether they are good or bad. So after you listen to Master explaining to you all this, remember to do more good merit for your children so that they can be well and protected.
嗯，这得送一份祝福。
Yes, we have to give the auspicious speech. A mom and two children, they're not very good.
好，送3颗八宝灵珠，很漂亮
Okay,
哈
give them
都亲
three
手搓的
auspicious
哈
beads.
哎，别掉了哈。
They're very
你可
beautiful.
想掉呢，不要掉啊。好，这个祝福祝愿哈，陈女
May
士
they,
和你的2个孩子哈，
may
都
Madam
能
Chen
长
and
命
her
百
two
岁
sons
如意吉
enjoy
祥
longevity
幸福长寿哈。
and
收到，感恩师傅。
enjoy auspiciousness.
好，那师傅，接下来我想
And
跟师傅
blessed.
分享一位网友欣欣。
Okay,
他做
Master,
的
I
梦
want to share
叫
another
摸
story
了
from
我姐的
Sing
右
Sing.
胳膊。
嗯，
嗯，
Say,
他说
she
师傅
said,
好，
touch my
弟子
sister's
在
right
今
arm.
年
Hello,
4月
Master.
25号的晚
On the
上
25th of
梦见老
April
家的一条小河
this year,
长了很大
I
的水，
dreamt
水
that a
还
small
很
river in
浑
my
浊。
hometown
我站
was
在岸
flooded
上，看见有几个
and the
光着
water
身
was
子的
very
人在
turbulent.
水里面
I stood by the
上半
bank
身
and
和
saw
脸
several
看得很
naked
清
people
楚，
in the
胖
water. I
乎
could
乎的，
clearly
皮
see
肤
their
也比
upper
较
body
白。
and face.
我不
They're
知道怎么
chubby
被
and
人的伸
fair.
过去，然后
I
等
don't
我
know
回
why
头
I
的
turned
时
my
候，
back. When I
看见
turned
水里
around
面的
again,
人都上
I
了
saw that
岸，
the people
并
from
且
the
有
river
2
had
个
came
人
ashore,
在摸我
and
姐姐
two
的
were
右胳
touching
膊，
my sister's
我
right
就立
arm.
刻念连
I
诗心
immediately
咒，
recite
就醒来了，一
Guru
看手机，晚
Rinpoche's
上12
mantra
点整。
and
那5
checked
月
my
31
phone. It was
号的
12
晚上，
midnight,
我骑电动车下班回家
12
的路
p.m.
上，
On the
突然
night
有一个外卖
on the
小哥速度
31st
很
of
快，
May, on my
从
way
我背
home
后
to
超
get
车
off
把
work,
我撞
I was
倒
on an
在
electric
地，
bike.
让
A
我的
delivery
右
guy
手骨
suddenly
尖端
overtook
骨折。
me behind
后
me
来我住
and
院
knocked
做
me
了
to the
手
ground.
术，还上钢板固定，
I
之
broke
后
the
在家康
tip
复。
of my right
在观音菩萨保佑我的
clavicle,
念佛班上，
and later I
我
was
就点了
hospitalized
49
from
天的祈
surgery.
福灯。前几
They put
天
a
也塑了地
steel
藏王
plate
菩
in
萨
it,
金
and I
身。
recovered at home.
可是呢，又在
So,
7月
in a
14号
Guanyin
的中午，
Bodhisattva
我姐姐
Sattva
在
Bless
顶
Me
替我
class,
的工作
I
时，
light prayer
中午
lamp
被绿
for
豆汤
49 days and
烫伤
also
了，也是右胳
built
膊，
the
不过还
help
好
to
不是特别的严
sponsor
重。
the golden
请问
body
师傅，
of
我做
Earthstone
的这2个梦
Bodhisattva.
都有什么寓意
On
吗？
noon,
感
14th
恩
of
师傅。
July, my sister was working for me, and
做了个
she
梦，
对，
was
哎，关键是
scalded
他这
by
个梦就是
the
他
mud
在
bean
水
soup
上
at
头嘛，
noon
对不对？
on her
他
right
在
arm.
岸上，
It was
然
not
后
very
看见水
serious.
里头
May
有
I know
几
what's the
个
meaning
人
of
什么，
this
然后那
dream,
几个人
Master?
上来了，摸了他姐右胳膊，
Yeah,
他
so
姐
she
呢
was
可
the
能
dream. She was
他姐应
actually
该是在
岸上，在他反正是
at
在他
the
梦中，有时候
river,
梦
right?
中
So
出
where
现一
was
个人
her?
很神
Where
奇
was
的
her
哈
sister when the people came up and touched her sister?
是我
Was
以
her
为就是
sister from the
好似
river?
感觉应该是岸上，但是他那个
But
河
her
水很
sister was
浑浊，
probably at the
还涨了
bank,
大
river
水。
bank.
他是说这个河里等于涨水了，
She said that the river was
对
flooded,
就是很浑浊的。
很浑浊。
and when it was
哎
flooded,
从理论上是
you
也是这样
couldn't. The
的
water wasn't
但
clear.
是我们
So
就开始解
logically,
释
that
吧
was how it
以
was.
我的对梦境的了解哈，
So from what I
通
understand
常
from
呢
dream,
就是这个清澈的水哈，
when the
这
water
是
is
梦境
clear
哈
in your
清澈
dream,
的水就代表着
it
吉祥和
means
财富。
auspiciousness
就
and
是
wealth.
这个概念呢，从几千年、上万年之前，这个中国人就这么认为的。
So
啊
thousands and millions of years ago, this is what
浑浊
people
的水
believe
哈
in. If the
就有
water
坏
is
事
clear,
啊
that means wealth is
汤
coming.
浑水
But
啊
when the
就是
water
是非非了，
对，
is
就是
very
是非
muddy, it means
灾难
that
麻烦
something
或者赔
bad,
钱
some
等等事儿
trouble
来了
may
对，
may
对
come.
这个水是这样认识哈。
So
所以
this is
它
what
现
we
在是浑
understand
浊的
from
水
water.
还是挺猛的，
是
哎，就是不
对
太好。
就不太好，就
另外
And
是
cloudy water
哎
is
对
troublesome.
又有人
So
像鬼一
next,
样的，就光着上身儿，光着身子，
She dreamt of
是吧？有几个
naked,
人哈，光着
naked
身子，
people
哎
like ghosts.
嗯， 这个我们就没有想出来，光着身子是啥
So what
意
does
思
it mean?
而且那个他也没说是鬼，而且还
She didn't really say it was ghost. She
他
said
看
that
得
they
很
are
清楚，还看
they
上
are
来
pretty
说他
fat
他都看清
and
楚，
fair,
然后还从水
chubby
里
and
头
fair.
上岸了。
She could see them
上岸了。
clearly. They
啊
came
关键还
from the
摸了他
water,
姐的右胳
对
膊，
去摸他，2个人摸了他
and
姐的
two
右
of
胳
them
膊
touched her sister, right arm.
这是什么？
我先理解为这个可能不是人，
是
或者是
What
他
I
没有白又
understand
胖的
is
时候
that
就可以理解为
they
他
are
不是
probably
人，
not human because they
或
are
者是
chubby
有
and
邪气，
fair.
摸了他姐的右
It could
胳
be
膊，
some evil
有没有发生个
energy.
别的？就到此就为止了。
She said that they touched her right arm, but did anything happen after that? She didn't mention.
对，他就醒了。
对，
And she
他
woke
为
up.
啥念咒呢？他觉得
Why
不
did
吉
she
祥，
chant? She
他
chant
被
because
吓
she
到了
think that it wasn't
在
good.
梦中就开始念咒，
She was shocked.
是吧？
That's why
那个
even
摸不是好
in the
不是
dream,
好摸。
你
she
经
remembered
常
to
有
chant.
你站在那儿，一个人光身子上来摸胳膊，也觉得不好啊。
You don't feel good because if you're standing there and then somebody came up and touched your
穿
arm.
着衣服上来摸胳膊也不好啊。
Even if you were
马路
wearing
边
clothes
上
and
就
you
有人
came
过
up
来
and
摸你胳
touched
膊，你也觉得
your
不好
arm, you don't feel good too.
是吧？连个预约都没有，你这
You don't touch people
这
without
这肯定是不吉
anything.
祥的
So it
啊
doesn't
所以
mean
他就
good. It's
害
not
怕所以他
auspicious.
赶快念
So
咒
she's scared. That's why she chant.
对，关键记住右胳膊，
Remember, it's the
对
right
浑浊的
arm.
水当中，有人光着身子，
白白胖胖的东西。
对，
In the cloudy
摸他
water,
的右胳膊。
嗯，
somebody
关键
came up and
之后
touched
又
her
发
right
生了什么呢？
对，
arm. And
之
after
后
that,
他
what
自己
happened?
骑车，
1个月以后，
啊
After that, a month
快递
later,
小哥超
she
他，然后把他撞倒
was
了。
on a
车
motorbike
祸嘛，
and
对
somebody from
右肩膀
behind
就
knocked her.
肩
锁骨
右锁骨就
右
断裂了
锁骨
也是右
撞断了，
边哦。
And the right
右边
hand
的锁
side
骨还属于胳膊这个
of her
系
hand
列
was
是
injured.
就你买个鸡腿儿，不光是腿儿，连大胯，连
对，胳膊肘儿。
So it's
对啊
still
连
the
后
same
半截
side of
跟
her
屁股都一
hand.
块儿买的，那才叫鸡腿啊！他一开始我觉得买鸡腿，我以为是买鸡的那个脚丫子呢。
Initially,
就发
when
现
we
鸡
talk
腿能
about
连那么大块肉，哎，对吧？所以他那个胳膊
so
呢，
her arm, the whole
连这个
arm.
锁骨这块儿也算是
算
胳膊这个
对
系列的，
肩膀
See,
部
in her
位
dream, even it's the right, the whole arm
血光之灾。
并且还没
was
完。
injured.
还没完，对。
对，
And that's not
谁又受伤
all.
了？
7月就过了1个半月，他姐
And a month
右胳膊又被
later,
烫伤
in
了。
July, her sister
你看，
was
他发生这
scalded
个灾祸呢，是在交通的过程中，
是
at the
啊
right side
而
of her
他姐
arm.
呢是被烫伤，
对。
So
在
you
家里
see,
干活
for
不是用
her,
火烫伤的，
she
对吧
had an accident,
水，
是
and the
水烫
sister
对
was scalded,
所以那个
not by
浑浊的
fire
灾
but by
难的水
water.
啊
哦，
恐怕还没完。
So I'm
因为
afraid
这个梦啊，
that the cloudy
这个梦
water
带给人的
problem
这种感
is
觉
not
呢
the end
肯
yet.
定不
It's
是
not the
烫你
end.
一下就拉倒了。
哦，
It's because the
因为浑浊
water
的水而且很大
was
对
very
吧
cloudy
来势凶猛，
and was flooded. So I don't think it's just
而且河
a
水也
scald.
很长。
Scalding is probably
所
more
以
than
不
that.
太好哈，
那
不太好
右面，
对，会发生到什么严重程度呢？
So what
只是不
could
可
have
预知
happened?
的
What else could have happened?
我呢，我
It's
们我也想哈
unpredictable.
我们虽然在解梦，但这个时候我还想用那句话：天机不可泄露。
好的，
这不是我不知道，这是我不
And
想
I'm
说。
thinking I still have to
哎
tell you
那就是说，
there are certain
这种
secrets
还是要
in
做
heaven
功
that
课
I cannot
以
leak out.
避免你们姐俩
It's
会
not that
发
I
生
do
更
not
严重
know,
的
but I
右
cannot
边的
say.
问题
It means
以避
that
免这件事。啊，
there could be
得
more
多做功
things
课
that are coming
还有呢，
to
就是
both
说
the sisters.
像你们姐俩最好
So
少
both
接
of
触
you
水的地方，
better
千
don't
万不要
come
去
into
坐
contact
船
with
呐在河
places
边
with
玩啊
water.
海边玩啊，啊，
Like
对吧？
don't
就
go
是
to
离
the
水要远
river,
一点。
don't go
做
to the
饭呢烧水呀也
seaside.
小心一
你
点。
看他就在
Be
家里还被
careful.
烫一下子，
Even when
到
she's
家
at
里去
home,
河
she
里
got
头也一
scalded,
样
right? Because it's
到了水
water.
灾也是
So have to be
连
careful when you
公
come in
那个路
contact
上
with
也是
water.
咱们说那个马路上那个车里
Like even
啊
on the
像川流
road-
不息嘛，
对
就像
Even on the road, we talk that
嗯
we talk about the traffic flowing like river.
这个交通也
So she was injured in an accident too. So have to be careful when you're on the road.
因为我觉得他看到河里浑浊的河里的那个白的胖胖
Because
的
I
东
still
西，
feel
可
that
能不
the
是什么好的东西
white
对
chubby thing that she saw coming out from the
就
water
寓意
is
到
not
还
something
是
good at
灾
all.
难，并且总是与
It
右边
means
人关
more
系。
misfortune is coming and it's always related to the right side.
身上哈，那家里比如说要老妈妈什么的，是不是也要
So
防
my
备一些？
so master, does it
你
mean
提
that
醒的对。
her mom have to
那
be
么
careful
通
too?
常
Does
中
it
国哲
only
学
means
它
her
是这样
family?
认为哈，
The two
世界
sisters
由阴
only?
阳组成的。对
Okay, in this
那这个
world
像
is
男的呀， 高山呢，
is a combination of yin and yang.
这个就为阳性啊。
Yang is like mountain, there's sun, there's bright, it's yang energy.
比如树
And
的影子
yin
呀，
energy is like shadow,
阴凉地儿啊，
夜晚呐，
对
female
夜晚啦
女性啊，
at
柔
night
和呀，
对
啊
对
or
这些代表
gentleness,
女性
all
啊
this
那世
represent
界间大概
yin.
也就是这样，尤其是地球这
So
个环境
everything is about yin and yang
华
in
人呢
this world.
是认为叫左为上，
对，
And for
我们当
Chinese,
身体这也是这样哈，当我的左
left
手为上，左手为
is a
上。
birth.
所以呢，通常在古代有
So
规矩的时候，比如说给
in the olden
长辈
days,
给老师或者给爷爷
when you
敬茶
give
的时候呢，通常要
drink to your
你看
elderly
两个手当
or
中
your
一定要把
teacher,
左手加进去
you
扶着
always
这
put
样
your
一个是
left
双
hand
手
at the bottom
两个手
to
表示恭
hold
敬
on to the
站
cup.
起来又比较稳妥，对不对？
对
但是左
It
手一
means
定
a form of
上
respect,
啊，还有
but
这
the
样子的。
left hand got
你
to
在韩
put
国人就成了
face
习惯，
up.
就是比如说给你递个一张纸
So
吧
for Korean,
一
it
张
becomes
纸
a
也是
habit when they
它
give
就
you a
这样
paper,
但左
they
手
will
托着
still
右
do
手
this.
走
The
这样
left
可以
hand
订一张
will
纸
be
巾也是
underneath
这
the
样
right
它
hand. They
表
will
示尊重
pass
你
it to you, a piece of
对不
paper
对
or even
它
a
一定要有
napkin
左
to
啊
show
但
respect
是
to
说第一
you.
排人先给谁呢？先给左边开始。
But all these people, who do they give?
对，
If
它
you
是
don't
这
want
么一个
to
顺序，
give something to
它
a
就是自然
a row of
界的
people,
这
they
样
got to
顺序
give
是
to
这
the
样的
left hand side
所以呢，就是
first. This
左
is
呢
all
为
very
上
natural
啊，
because left
也
is
叫
on the
为阳。
upper side.
那右边呢，
And it's
就
also
是
called the
为
yang.
次或者为下，也叫为阴啊。所以当我们的
And
右手右脚的时候，
The
这
right
代
side
表
is the
在
yin.
家庭来说，代表着既是除了右
So when
边
you
之
talk
外，
about
还代表着
the
阴
right
的，
side,
也代表着女士。
对
it also
你们家的女
represents
人
the
不管是
female, the
奶奶
female in
还
your
是孙女，
family,
这都是
be
女
it
人。
grandmother or the
哎，这个
granddaughter.
灾要小心，
They all have to
尤
be
其
very
是他梦
careful
到摸他姐姐的胳膊，
对，
说这个灾难只指向姐
because
姐。
when in her dream
所以呢，
it
这
touched
个
her
姐姐呢，
sister's arm,
说
that
她
means
是一定
this
带我的
crisis is pointing towards her sister. So the sister would definitely have one of my treasure
是
beads.
最好了哈，还有其他宝物的话，
Wear
大家
more
防着点儿。
Wear more
啊
protective
真的
auspicious
因为
beads
这
if you
是前
have
面
for
刚发生的灾
protection.
了，但是我觉得还没完。
Because I feel that
因为一般
although a
大汉不
crisis,
会做这
a
样
problem
的
have occurred,
不
but
会
it's
做
not
这
the
么严
end.
重的梦。
对对对，
这个梦是比较
Because
严
in
重
her
的。
dream, it sounds
对
very
当然，如果你做的这个梦，如
threatening.
果你家里头有，比如说有做投资啊，自己生意的
But
时
if
候，
you
这
have
个
this
期间
kind
千
of
万别
dream
投资。
and you wanted to do
还有这个问
investment,
题。
you better
大事别做决
not
定。
continue.
比如说姐姐
You
这个时
better
候
don't
结
make
了婚了，
big
这个时候还
decision.
容易发生夫妻争吵或者离
Or
婚
if the sister
等等
is
这些事
married,
情哈。
she may have some problem with her husband. The relationship with her husband may not be good, or she may even have
我就
divorce.
躲躲再说。
So
对，
it's
就
better
是这
to
种能量
lie
消停
low
了，
for the
就
time
静下
being.
来才
When
能
this
做下面一
energy
个
is here, you
吉
better
祥的
lie
事
low
情。
so that you can
在这
continue
个时候
to
不
do
适合
something
一起
auspicious
办
later
结
on.
婚呐，
Now
高
is
考也
not
麻
a
烦
suitable
啊。
time for
对
marriage or
或者投资啊
examination or
开张啊
investment
哎
or even
包括打
opening
官
a
司也不容易赢
company
哎，因为你不是阳
or
是
even
阴
going
啊
into a court case. It's not easy
大事都不适
to
合。
win.
一般至少
It's
呢
not
要过去
suitable
6
to
个
do
月以上
anything
啊
big at this
才行
time.
的啊。除非有特别好的法宝啊和功德支撑你，
Unless she has
否则
some
会
very
容易
good
出问题。
merits that
尤
can
其是
help
水灾
support
啊
her. It's not easy, especially when we
那
talk
我们
about
给这
water.
妹妹，
姐妹哈，赠送2颗宝珠。
感恩师傅。
So 2 beads for
祝
the
新兴姐妹
sisters.
呢都能够如意吉祥，
May the sisters be
逢凶化
auspicious.
吉，长
May they
命百
evade
岁，
calamities,
佛光普照。
live a long life, and may the Buddha light shine
收到。
upon them.
那接下来是纽约禅堂的持温师
So
姐
next
分享的
story, next sharing is from
传染的
New
邪
York
气
Meditation
邪气还传染
Center.
师
It's
傅
about
好，我是纽约
contagious
禅堂
evil
的持温
spirit.
我有一次经历了一
So
场
hello
非常
Master,
可
I'm
怕的
Chi
噩
Wen
梦
from New
想
York
跟师傅
Center.
分享
I once
也请
experienced
师
a
傅帮
very
我开示
terrifying nightmare, and
我
I
的
wanted
妈
to
妈
share it
呢
with
是
you.
每隔几个月
Please
就会做
enlighten
一
me,
次噩梦
Master. My
在
mom
噩
had
梦中会
nightmare
尖叫声音
every
特别
few
大
months,
我
and she
住在隔
screamed
壁的
during her
房间都
nightmare.
听
It
得
was
到
so loud that
这
I
种
can
现
even
象已
hear
经
her from
持
the
续
next
了
room.
6、7年了吧
This phenomenon has
最
been
近有一次
going
呢
on
好
for
像是在
6
清
or
明节
7
期
years.
间有一天
Probably
晚
the
上
most
我
recent
又
one
听到妈妈这样
was
尖
during
叫
Qingming
我赶
Festival.
紧起床
One
冲到她
night,
的
I
房
heard
间打
another
开灯
scream from my mother, and I
然后
got
呢
up
看
and
到
rushed
她
into
那
her
个样子
room.
是
I turned
两
on
个
the
手
light,
臂
and I saw that her arms outstretched above her head. Her hands seemed to be holding each other tightly, like being tied up. Her face was in a very painful expression. Usually in such a situation, I would shake her hand and she would wake up. But this time, I shook it so hard and she didn't wake up at all. Then I pat her chest, pat her face for a long time before she finally opened her eyes suddenly. When she opened her eyes, I felt a very uncomfortable energy that made me feel a little creepy and a little scared. After smoothing my mom, I turned off the light and went back to my room to go back to sleep. Not long after I lie down, I entered a very terrifying dream. In the dream, I felt like I was in the edge of a cliff, with my hands and feet tied up. I was so frightened at that time, and I kept trying to struggle. But there seems to be no way out of this danger. I shouted loudly, "Master, help me! Master, help me!" During the struggle, my hand touched the Vajra that was placed beside my bed. I held the Vajra tightly, and then suddenly my eyes opened up. This feeling was very uncomfortable. I knew in my heart at that moment, when I held the Vajra, that it was Master who saved me. I'm grateful to Master for helping me when I was in danger. I'm so thankful for this Dharma object blessed by Master, which can give me a sense of strength and security when I need them most. Because I experienced such a terrible nightmare, I could feel the pain that my mom was experiencing in her dreams over the years. I asked Sick Master to bless my mother and hope that she can get rid of this nightmare as soon as possible and can have good night's sleep every night. At the same time, I also like to ask Master to enlighten me. After I woke up from my dream, I also entered a dream while falling asleep. Is it because my dream came from my mother's dream? Is this a continuation from my mother's dream? Thank you, Master. It seems like the mom had a nightmare, so the daughter woke her mom up and went back to sleep. After that, she had the same bad energy. That means that the evil energy transferred from her mom to her. She said when her mom opened her eyes, she suddenly felt very creepy feeling. So when mom opened her eyes, that means she doesn't look like a mother. That's why she felt creepy. So in some dream, when you say that it's real or not, it can really hurt you, although it's a dream. Of course, some people may dream, have nightmare because they are too tired, or maybe they've been watching a scary movie the past few nights. All these are fine. It's probably because the person is timid. But for Chiwen, her dream, all this that happened in her family is not something that she thinks. It is some evil energy. So the evil energy was with her mom. That's why her mom couldn't wake up in the dream. It is very serious when a person is in a dream and then you couldn't wake them up. It's very dangerous because if you couldn't wake up, the person may just be gone. And the doctor may say that it is heart attack. So for her case, she woke her mother up from the dream and the evil energy goes to her. She could see that her mom was all tied up. And in her dream, she's also all tied up. It's so similar to her mom's dream. It's really scary. And she said that her mom had nightmare for 6 or 7 years. It's a long time. So it could be an old spirit that is with her mom. So she have to do something about it in her family, or else the longer it is, the more problem it will be. So for children, she have Vajra pestle at her bedside. But it seems like they need something stronger than this energy.
这种法相在那供着，才镇得住。
这个老邪灵。
对。
So it seems that she must have a big painting of
你提的也
Mahakala.
是对。第一个我们要镇住，第二个
So we have
你要
to
把它超度了。
have something
对，
to help her, to protect her, and also to
我们也帮着解决。
help the
帮着解决
spirit
就是，
transcend.
哎呀，但是越听越害怕，哈，越听越害怕。
对。
But this
那还有妈妈
is
也
really
是，因为妈妈
scary.
也年纪也大了哈，6、7年都被这种噩梦
The
侵扰
mom is
也得多修炼，
is
多走
old
八
and
卦
she has been this
多
kind of
念佛。
phenomena, this nightmare for 6 or 7 years.
希望妈妈
Maybe
多
she
地
have
修
to
吧。
practice. I hope that the mom practice and cultivate
如
too
果
to
能修就
chant.
更好。
当然
It will be
了
good
哈
if she
对
practice.
通常容易被梦魇被这样
For
在
people
梦中
who
哈
are
被控制的话，
easily controlled in
通
their
常是你的能量
nightmare,
不足。
it means that
当然还
their
有多种
energy
情况
level is very
有些
low.
是就是恶业缠身哈，
And another
那么还
saying
有的
is
是
they could
小
have
时候
bad
受的惊吓
karma,
是
or maybe
这
because they
惊
were
吓呢，你自己
they
的
were being scared when they
本
were
体的
young.
灵魂哈，本属于
They
自
were
己的灵
scared
魂，
of
哎，
that their
就
own
是一受到惊
soul.
吓之后，就
Because
不知道
some
跑
people
哪
when
里
they were
去了。
young, when they were
就
scared,
是我们讲
their soul may
人有七
go
魂六
off.
魄，也就是
As
说
a
你灵魂
saying,
不是一个单一的一个，
we do not,
它是六
as
七
a
个组
saying,
合
we
在一
have
起，
7
才成一个
spirit.
完整的灵魂。但是有人说，
So
你想完，我
our
在
main
我在那个视频
spirit
上看到多么恶
is
的
made
这
up
个
of
都有。
multiple.
哎，有一次也吓
So
我一跳，我正在一个地方走路，
So one day I was
有个
walking
大卡车在我的
and
后头，
suddenly a
我
big
走的并
truck
不是
was
马路啊，
behind me. I wasn't even
哎
on
当然那
the
也是他们家的地盘儿。
the main road.
那个大卡车那个大喇叭在北美声音特别大，
So
这叫气喇叭，
the truck
非常大。
had very
恐怖
loud
这
horn
咣的
in
一
North
声，哎
America.
呀
So it
我
was so
真的我都差点要
loud.
发火给他。哎，也是那个人也是个华人老头儿，
The person who was driving the truck is a Chinese too, and I was really angry. Why are you so
说你开个车上喊我一声，
so uncourteous?
你喇叭
I
声
was
这么
just
大，
in front of you. Why
真把
must
人
you
吓坏了。
sound the horn? It was so loud.
对，
You
就
can
是
just
说
call me.
这没修养嘛，对，
The person is
就
not
是
cultured.
人在很多情况下，
So in
包
a
括看鬼
lot
片儿
of
啊也是，
situations,
或者有时候你看到一个什么东西，吓
this
到
could frighten a
啊，
person.
因为各
So,
种吓人的。
or even
我
when
看
you're
在视频
watching
还有
some
在
scary
国
movie,
外那个很多那个大学的校园当中的花园里头，
or even
啊，装一
in
个鬼，
the
特别
university,
真
in
实
overseas
啊，
university,
还有呢，就是
sometimes
说，
they act as
看着就是好像一个人
skulls
被
to
枪
scare
杀的
another
过程，其实
person
他
off.
在演戏吓唬人的，
对，
把尤其是女孩儿哈，
Or
真的
maybe
吓得屁滚
somebody
尿流的，
who
他们
try
回去
to,
就受伤了，
during
他的灵魂就
Halloween,
反
they
而
will
会
do a lot of
头就
tricks,
丢了，
very scary
从此
tricks,
就容易
and they
失魂
may
落魄，
scare a
也
person.
容易被
And
在
after a
做梦
person
的
is
时候被
scared,
梦魇，
their
被压
soul
成那个
may
样
be
子啊，
lost.
就特别麻烦。那么
And
严
once
重的
that
人的
happen,
话，
it's
严
very
重的要
easy
么
for
死
them to
了，
have
还有的
nightmare.
就是
And
精
in
神
some
病，
serious case,
稍微严重
the
的要么
person
死
may
要么精
even
神病，
go
对，还有
mental,
的
may
就是
have
不生
a
孩
mental
子，
problem after
还
that.
有
Or some may not
对呀，
even
生下来月经都没
conceive
了，
after that
心把
because
肾
she
脏
was
坏了，
afraid.
啊，
对，就整个
Through the
晚上。
fright, the whole body
哎，
system
但是呢，
is not
就像加拿
normal
大路上
anymore.
骑摩托车声音很大，那政府也是同意的。
Or like some
那么吓
people,
唬
they
人，
ride
你
a
说这个事
motorbike,
算不算犯法呢？这
their
应该
horns are
不算
very
犯法。
loud
不算
too.
犯法，但经常也是引起争
Is it
执。
against
那
the
那个
rule?
摩托
It's
车
not
那么
against
吵，那
the
人家在
law.
冲的那些白人，尤其老头儿们也骂他们呢，一样。
Some
比如说
people,
像
they
我路
will
过那个，
just
如果在
ride
你
a
路过那
bicycle,
种大气喇叭
motorbike
在
very
上，
loudly.
啊，
对吧？越唱脾气大的就和你动手打起来了。
没错，绝对的。
对
啊，
Some
但是一
people,
般说我打个喇叭，我并没有
they
伤害
say
你
that,
啊。
oh, I just
那如
have
果
my
行为
loud
骂
horn.
街一
It
样，
doesn't
说
mean
我
that
并没
I'm
有说打
hurting
你，我就
you.
骂你娘，对不对？那
Just like
那
when you
你
scold
你不
someone,
生
you say,
气
I
了，
didn't hit you, I
哎，
just
所
scold
以
you.
这
But
个有
does
些
it
时
affect
候
the person?
还有
It
很多本
does.
身是一个道德修养问题，
It's
这
about
和
a
法律
person's
也是有的
culture.
没什么关系，就是啊。咱就说这个灵魂呢，有时候就会不知不觉之中被
So
吓呀、吓
sometimes
跑了，
the
啊，
soul
受到
may
这个
be
伤害，就容易有
may
这个问
run
题。
away
对，
because of
被梦魇。
being
对，
scared.
当然还有一种最大的就是业力问题，冤亲债
And
主
of
来
course,
找你
another
啊。
factor could
对，
be
这要看
from
你这
bad
个当事人
karma.
是属于哪种情况，
So bad
哎，
karma,
才可能
the
有
karma
办法来
debtors may
救治。
come
当然，这个
to
也
look
是
for a
一般的，
person.
我们的医生、科学家也没办法
So
来
all
解决你的问
these
题。
problems
这个
cannot be
通常是哪里不
resolved
舒服，
by doctors or scientists. Because when you go to the doctors to check if you have problem in your body, they will check with all the scanning, and at the end of the day, they'll say that your body is healthy, there's nothing. But that's not the
他有
case.
病，只是我们的医学还是比较有限的。
They are not well, but it's just that our medical
那所以像遇到这个
facilities are not
问题
able
的
to
话呢，
detect it yet.
那么大家可以给我写信哈。
So if you
我能
have
帮
such
的我就尽
issue,
量
you
帮
can
你，
write to
好吧？
me,
在我
and
们
if I
在
can, I will
我
help
自己
you
在
as
修行
much
的
as
时
I
候，
can.
还和大家一起念佛修行的时
During
候
my
呢，
practice,
之后就顺
and
便
even
帮
when
着
I
大家
chant with
啊，
you,
也许
I
顺便
I
你
will
的灵
help,
魂呢
try
就
to
能
help
安
you,
回去了。
and
我记
maybe
得是
your
半年一
soul
年
may
前
come
的时
back.
候，
I
以为大
remember
家
half a year or a
加
year
持安
ago,
魂嘛哈。
对，
I
安
had
魂
a
这部影片
session
呢，其实我们已经
to
在
ground the
地
spirit.
禅修学院网上面发布了哈，叫安魂加持。对，
Yeah,
这是一
masters
个
have this
特别特别
blessing
好、非
session.
常难得的一个安魂的加持片，因为别人都不会，就像师
应该
傅说的
是，
About
嗯
spirit
对
grounding.
少，
找到医生，医生都没法解释。
So
那真的
sometimes when it comes to spirit grounding, you go and look for doctors. The doctors are not able to help
啊，
because they
但
have
师
no
傅会给
idea.
安回来。
嗯，
But master is able to
很
help.
多年前在那是在河北
So
一
many
个中医，
years ago in Hebei,
他是晚上给人
a
出诊哈，
Chinese medicine
出诊给
doctor
吓到了，
哦，
这个白鹰在前头走，
went out and was
啊，
他 scared.
呢
He
因为
went
这
out
么
at
多
night.
年行医，他说我经常走夜路，我
He
就
said,
没
I
见过鬼
always walk
他
at
蹬着
night
自
to
行车
help
使劲蹬，我
people,
是看看到底
and I was
是
no
到底是
scared.
人还是鬼。
So
因为你
that
看那个
day
影
he
子
saw a
飘嘛
white spirit
飘往前
floating,
觉得是有
a
点
white
奇怪
shadow
那人
floating,
怎么
and
会
he said,
飘呀？
是
是
Wow,
它
this
不
is
是一个真
weird.
正的实
Why
体，
would
对
a
不对？
person float?
它有点像一股气一样的飘着，但是却是有人形。
But it has a
哎
human
他使
form.
劲蹬自行车，
So
我
he
看这鬼
ride
长
his
什么样。
bicycle quickly
等往
to
前
go and
追
see. He
鬼，
said, I
他
want to
追
see
到
how
那
the
鬼
it
突然一
looks
回头
like.
就把他吓昏过去了。
So when he was
哎
chasing
完了
after
之后，从
the
此就
spirit,
中
the
了大
spirit
病了。
suddenly turned his
啊，
head
就是
around
说白
and
天
he
睁
got
开眼，
scared.
晚上出门溜
And
达。
from
啊
then onwards,
对对对，完了之
he
后
falls sick,
之后对，
even though
托
he's a
人找到我
doctor.
之
So
后
he finally
我
found
就给
me.
他一共做了2次给他弄好了。
And I had to
哎
do
但是
spirit
呢，
grounding
他
for
再也
him
晚上不
twice,
敢
and
出
he's
诊看
finally
病了，
well. But
给
from
惊
then
吓到了。
onwards, he do
白
not
天
dare
看
to
病
go
就不
out at
错
night
对对对，白天还能凑合看病。
anymore.
错了。
He don't go out at night
不信鬼不
to
行啊。
he only
所以我
he
们
only
还是
go
现在
for
就信
home
了吧，
visits in the
别
morning.
自己非要经历
In the
验证了之
daytime
后才相信，这代价太大了。
嗯，
是要敬畏啊。
嗯，
对
对。
是。
好啊，就是说回到持温家里这个哈，一个是要有比较，重
So
量
for
级的这样
Chiwen,
的
her
这种震
family,
慑的哈，
是。
哎，佛像啊，
they need to
护法
have
像啊
something
哈
strong
再
and
加上就是
powerful
妈妈呢
to
多
help
修炼，
protect her
多念
family.
佛
是
And her mom and her
是。
have to practice
对
more
家族的冤亲债主啊，或者是祖先啊，
to
多
build
给
good
历代
merit.
祖先点
对
点灯，哎，
And they can also light
把这
lamp
功德
and do
项
good
目呢，你
merits for
看
their
哪些你
ancestors.
的感觉里你应该去做的哈，
是
哎，自己看一看。
So all these are depends
所
on
以
you.
对
How
这
do you
件事我们议
feel?
论的还不少哈。
是，感恩师傅
好，那我们
给持温跟妈妈
池温和妈妈好。
对
So we'll give the treasure beads to Chiwen and her
以后
mom.
不要再做噩梦了，希望。
是啊，
好，祝愿池温和你的妈妈哈都能够如意吉祥，健康长寿，佛光普照。
收
收到
到，感
感恩师
恩师傅。
May she and her mom
那
be
接下来师傅
auspicious and may
再
the
跟师
Buddha
傅
light
分享
shine
一个
upon
网友
them.
小红的
Okay,
梦。
Master, let me
她是
share
梦
another
见老公
sharing
前
from
妻
Xiaohong.
哎，这有
She
意思
dreamt
啊。
of her husband's
嗯，来听听。
ex-wife.
师傅好，
Hello,
今天凌
Master.
晨4点
At
半
around
左右，我
2:30
做
in the
了一个
morning
梦，
today, I
梦见
dreamt
我老公的
that my
前妻来
husband's
找我，
ex-wife came
她
to
是骑
find
着
us.
自行车来
She
的。
came on a
当时呢，
bicycle.
我抱着儿子，
I was
她一
holding
来
my
就想
son
碰
at
我
that
的
time,
儿
and she
子，
wanted to
哎，
touch
但
my
是她
son
只
as
是
she
用手
came,
摸了一下
but
我
she only
儿子，
touched
就
my
被我
son with
阻
her
止了。
hand, and I
老公这
stopped
时候
her.
也过来
My
阻止
husband
了。
also came to
当时
stop
我
her.
看到
At that
她
time,
身形还
I
是
saw
挺
that she
胖的，
was
也
fat
没说什么话。
and didn't say
老公
anything.
呢就抱着儿子
My
去玩
husband
了，
went
没
to
有
play
搭理
with
她，我也没理
the
他。
son
后来他
and
就
ignored
扶
her,
着
and I
自行车
ignored
往
her
外
too.
走。
Later,
当
she
时给
took
我
the
的感
bike
觉她很
and
难过，
walked out.
我
At that
心
time,
里
I
其实
felt
也
that
不
she
太好
was
受，
very
我
sad,
就去
and
找
I
老
felt
公
bad
和
too,
儿
so
子
I
了。
went to my husband and my
不
son.
知不觉，我上了一
Before
栋
I knew
新
it,
盖的楼
I
房，
went to a
上面没
newly
有
built
建好，
building.
还
It
有
was
好多
not
工人在
finished.
做事。
There were still many
我跟
workers working on it, and it was blocking the stairs, and I couldn't go up. So I stand around and look. When I was about to go up, I saw my husband's ex-wife. She committed suicide by jumping down from the roof. At that time, I asked those workers, why didn't any of you call the police when you saw her committing suicide? One of the male workers pointed at me and said, you pushed her down. I said, no, I just came down. She commit suicide first. You wronged me. Later, more workers came and they all said that I pushed my husband's ex-wife down and she died. I said I could go and do an autopsy and see if she has my fingerprint on her. And the worker were unreasonable and dragged me, forcefully approached her body. I was stronger than them and they couldn't pull me. Just as I was pulling, I accidentally stepped in the air and fell down the stairs, and then fell into the house on the first floor. When I realized that I was not killed by the fall, I immediately got up and meditated to prepare to chant the Buddha's name. Before I had time to do that, I saw the soul of my husband's ex-wife came out and heard her voice saying that she wanted to possess me and then float up and look for me everywhere. I chanted the 6-syllable mantra on the spot, but she didn't find me and float away. When I saw her float away, I woke up and perspired. When I woke up, I thought my husband's ex-wife is not dead yet, but she's still alive. Why did I have such a dream? Master, please help me find out what's going on. So her husband's ex-wife is not dead, but the dream was so real, and everybody say that she's the one who causes her death. Okay, let me analyze this type of relationship. If you are the second wife and the ex-wife is still alive, so before you got married, does it mean that their relationship with the ex-wife was still there, was present? That means they were married, and because of your presence, they divorced? If that is the case, what is the relationship between the ex-wife and the second one? And the current wife. So of course, their relationship will be like enemy. When they see each other, in their subconscious mind, they will not like each other, definitely. So this dream has something to do with her subconscious mind. How can I kill the other person? But in her dream, she said that it's not her. She didn't kill the person. But why do the workers say that it's her who killed them? The whole group of people think that she's the one who killed her. Because in their relationship, they hate each other. They didn't kill each other because legally it's not right. So that's why in this relationship, they actually not in good relationship. So this death that they mentioned about the ex-wife, it could mean that the marriage spoiled. It's like the marriage destroyed and it's you who causes it. Maybe I think it meant that way too. So in her dream, she's the current wife. So it's something that she has in her mind. Like if I want to kill her, I couldn't kill her. But if I don't kill her, I don't feel good in my heart. But I didn't kill her. But maybe subconsciously, or maybe in the mind, she killed the person. Kunti, you kill someone in your mind? You did, right? See, you are such a kind person. Why would you have that kind of hatred? What about Jiezhen? Did you do that? I can't remember. But I did kill cockroaches. Before I think about it, my hand is already start the action. And when I thought about it, I said I don't want to kill, but the corpse is already there. So can only chant. So subconsciously, we mentioned that the ex-wife and the current wife, when they are living together, they are like enemies. So if you are like enemy, what is in your subconscious mind? You definitely do not love the person. You hate the person. You want the person to die. But of course, when you hear about other people, you say, forget it. Just forgive the person. But in your mind, you just want the person to die, be it accident or through an accident or whatever. You want the person to die. It's not that I made you die, but you have the idea that it's better that the person die earlier. So due to this kind of relationship, it is very normal to have that kind of thoughts. So when Xiao Hong had that dream, it's something that happened in her subconscious mind. That's why it appears in her dream. It means in your heart, you already killed your husband's ex-wife many times. But she's afraid when the ex-wife spirit wanted to look for her, she's afraid. So I need to tell you that if you really hurt the person will come and look for you. Even if you don't kill the person physically, you make the person angry to death, the person will look for you too. The spirit will look for you too. Even if it's through accident, the spirit will look for you too. So since you already have her husband, please do not do that to the ex-wife. In your heart, be more compassionate. Because the bad karma that we created, if in our heart we wanted to hurt the other party, if you cannot hold yourself and you really did it through action, you'll be way too late. Even if you don't kill the person, but in your heart you keep thinking about it, you have the bad karma too. So it's just like killing the other person. And then all this bad karma will also continue on to the next generation. So in her dream, she also mentioned about the ex-wife's soul floating and want to look for her. And then she quickly chanted the 6-syllable mantra. And the spirit was not able to find her. So that means that when you chant the mantra, it can actually save yourself. But I want to say is that we have to cultivate ourselves so that it goes all the way into our heart. Just like me, I shouldn't just hit the cockroach and say I shouldn't have killed the cockroach. We really have to cultivate ourselves so that it goes to our heart. We do not have bad action. It doesn't mean that you chant when people hurt you. You should chant before you hurt somebody too. So when I talk about wealth, there are always people who are richer than you. Even though you are one of the richest person in the country, it is still not the richest person in the world. So as a normal person, we shouldn't compare, because once we compare, there are always people who are better than you. So as a current wife, if you still have the hate in your mind, what about the ex-wife? It's the same. If the ex-wife doesn't cultivate, the ex-wife will hate you too. So when this kind of things happen, in the eye of law, you are hurting another person. When you snatch the other person's husband, you already killed the person. Who doesn't want a good relationship? But if you're happy and had a good relationship and you killed somebody through the process, or you hurt somebody through the process, that's not good too. That's not the way to work. Do not hurt people, because once you hurt people, it is a mistake and your heart will not be peaceful.
让我们自己和我
And
们
you
的
will
子女
never
曾
wash
经都是
yourself
受罪
off
的
the sin.
你是要还这个债的。
You and your children will have to repay this debt.
他前妻来找他们的时候，还动手去摸他的儿子。
So she also said that when the ex-wife came to look for them, he wanted to touch her son. And she didn't want to let her touch because she felt that this is mine. So in her heart, she don't feel at ease. Then when everybody tell her it's you who killed her, she's scared. Her heart is so unrest. She don't feel at ease at
所以
all.
的这类现象的时候呢，大家小心一点啊。对，那面对婚姻选择的时候，
So when such thing happen,
如果
please
相
be more
对对
careful
方的背景越干净清爽
before
一点
you go
其实是非较少
commit into a marriage.
对
Make sure
是这
that
样
the other
啊
party has
好
a
那
a
我想呢，
clean
我们这个
record is
网友
easier
小红呢，完
that
全
way.
理解我们所说的意思哈。
So I hope
但
that
是我
Xiao
认为
Hong
你
can
心里还是
understand
善
what we
良的
mean. I
否则
believe
你
that
不
you're
会把
still
这样一个
kind
隐
at
秘的
heart,
梦直白的告诉我
or else you will not share with us
我觉
such
得你的现在的心是善
a
良的，
personal
但是这种
dream.
潜意识它就像潜水一样潜来
But
深到
because
什么
all
程度
these are
呢？
like
它是有
subconscious,
啊，但是可能
subconsciously in
是
your
之
mind.
前你的意识所形成的东西。我相信你现在应该没有
I
这个意
believe
识
that
了。
you do not have
我
that
相信你现在是
thought
个善
right
良
now.
的人，
You're a kind
慈
person
悲
now.
的人，
You're a
所以你才有一
compassionate
种负罪
person
感
now.
啊。
So you
对
feel bad.
所以呢，我希望你呢继续哈
I hope that you
就
will
做一个慈
continue
悲善良
to
的
be
人
a
啊，为
compassionate,
自己
kind
为家
person
庭啊
for
为子女
yourself, your
多积德
family,
多行善
and your
啊
children.
哎
Do
抽空
more
也多
good
修行啊
deeds
那我还
and
是送你
cultivate
珠子
more.
啊，
I'll give you the
这应
beads.
该就一颗吧，一颗可以，好，
Yeah.
你的故事呢，其实也挺让我们挺受益的哈。
Your story, your sharing also benefit
很好的
us.
经验哈。好，
So everybody
对
can
希望你
share.
呢，保佑
May
你这
you
个平安吉祥，
Be
长命百岁，
auspicious,
佛
enjoy
光普照。
longevity, and the Buddha light shine upon you.
师傅，接下来呢是网友小
Okay, thank you,
周
Master.
他分享的
Next
梦
is
见
a
自称
sharing
我
by
爹
Xiao
的
Zhou.
人。师
She
傅好，
talked
第一次有
about
一个
dreaming
梦
a
境呢，
person
想
who
请
called
师傅
himself
指
my
导。
father.
我这
Hello,
几年
Master.
呢都
I
在
had a
禅堂
dream
陆续为
and
祖
wanted to
先做
ask
功
Master
德。
for
几个
guidance.
月前，我
Over
做
the
了一个
past few
梦，
years, I've been
梦见一
doing
个中年男人，穿着一
miraculous
身光亮
deeds
的
for my
少数民
ancestors
族
in the
那种
meditation
布料的
center.
黑衣服，
And a
坐
few
在
months
一
ago,
张
I had a
老
dream
式
about a
太师椅
middle-aged
上，
man wearing a
背景是
shiny
黑
black
的，说他
shirt.
是我爹。
He's
实际
of
上他不
ethnic
是我今
minority
世已经
fabric,
往生的爹，
and he
我
sits
今世
on
的
an
爹早在几
old-fashioned
年前已经投胎
chair
了。
with a black
所以
background,
反正他
saying
知
that
道
he's
他
my
爹投胎
father.
了。
But the
所
fact
以呢，
is,
在
he's not
梦
my
里我嘴
father
里
who
还
has
嘀咕
passed
说
away in this
你
life.
哪里是我
My father
爹
in
呀？
this life was
他微微
reincarnated
地
a
笑
few
了。
years ago. So in
画
my
面
dream, I
切换
mumbled
到
at
我
you.
儿子几岁时候的
How
样
can you
子，
be my
坐
father?
在
He
他大
smiles
腿上，
slightly
他看着我不说话。画面又转
and
到
look
他
at me
一
without
个人坐
speaking.
在椅子上，
Later,
一直微笑地看
the
着我。
scene changed.
在梦
He
里，我觉
looked
得
at
他是我
me
某一
sitting
世
on a
的亲
chair.
人，
And
我也不觉得
in
恐
my
惧。
dream, I felt
之
that
后
he is a
梦就醒
relative in
了。
one of my sudden life,
天
and
亮
I
了，
do not
想
feel
到
scared at
还
all.
要为他
After that,
点
I
灯
woke
做
up.
功德，
At
同时
dawn,
也念了一个
I
月
thought
的
of
经文
lighting a
回
lamp
向
for
给
him
他。
and
之
do
后几个月到现在，我
some
再也
good
没有
deeds for
梦见
him
过
too.
他。
At that
我
time,
不知道是否
I
还要继
chant
续为他做功德
for a
呢？
month
如果
and
继续
dedicate the
做，
merit to
人
him.
类的
After
名
a
字
few
应该
months,
写什
I've
么？
never dreamt of
这
him
个
again.
梦
I
是
don't
吉
know if
还
I
是
should
凶
continue
呢？
to do good
恭
deeds for
敬祈
him.
请师傅开
If I
示。
continue to do it, what should I write on the name? Is this
梦中
dream good
有
or
一位
bad?
中年男子说：“
对
我是你爹。”
Master,
当
please
他
help
穿
me.
的都
Thank
是那
you.
种就是传统的
So,
老一点的那种样式的
This
服装，坐
person
在
wear
他
a
太
old
师椅，
traditional
就是
clothes and
还是挺
sitting
古远的
on
那
an
种感
old
觉。
chair,
嗯，
old design
就
chair.
像
So
这样
it
的一
seems like
个
it's
打扮
something,
和画面，
this
对
kind of
应该
scene
是就是
and
过去的
dressing
人了，
could be
对，
那
someone
是过
in
去的打扮。
是呢，嗯，
嗯，
对。
in the
其实我
past.
想到我们一般生身父
It's
母，
not in our
生
modern
身父
world.
母，
So when I
其
think
实
about
如
our
果按照转
parents
世
in
哲
our
学
many
概念哈，
lifetime,
对，
其实我们有
if we
多
talk
世的
about
父母。
reincarnation, we have
我
fathers
觉
in
得
many
虽然说
lifetime.
不是你现世的亲爹
So it
啊，
could
那可
maybe
能
the
是
person
前
is
世、
not
前世的
your father in
某一
this
世的
life. It
父
could be
亲。
one of your life,
就
a
咱们
father
讲
from
七
one
世
of your
父母、
life.
累世
对，
父母 母
没
哈。
错，某一世的父亲。
还真是爹。
对呀，是来看望。
So it could be his father who came to find him.
他坐着太师椅这种悠然自得的感觉来说， 其实希望是能够帮他的啊。
He hoped to help
这
him.
也不是来害
微笑的
The father is not here to do
但我
harm to
相信
him.
是与他修行啊、念佛、做功德有
I
关
believe
系
it has something to do with
祖宗
his
也会沾他的光，他
cultivation
也沾了祖宗的光，并且呢还把他的孩子哈
对，抱在腿上，
抱在腿上，
and
就是认
he
着这样的
even
一种
carried his son on his lap.
对祖孙的这种关系，
啊，挺好的。
So it's a very good relationship. It's good for the children.
没错了。
That means the
是他这
children
个
are
祖宗的这
protected
一颗就是祖宗的这一颗叫大根基，
because the ancestors is like
啊，
big
祖宗还
a
很
big
信任
对，所以
foundation.
网友小周的这个
So it's
修
good
行
for her.
和平时做功德都是有
So it
关
has
系的。
something to do with
这个
her
梦不错
practice
的
是。
and
然
her
后小
many
周
years
还
of
问
doing
了
good
说要不
merit.
继续给这个爹做
And
功
she
德
asked,
那个
should
连
she
着你
continue
字
to
应该
do
写
good
什么
merit for the
但是他
father?
前面已经
And what
为
must
他
she
点都做
write
功
there?
德了，我也不知道他写的是
就是
什么。
要写的话，
人家都
就是说
收到了，
Because in the
就是
beginning
说
she had already
这个
done
祭祀
good
父母，
祭
merit.
祀父母，
就这样。
嗯，
So
感
what
恩
must she write? She must write
对，
many
就感恩这个父母的
past
养育
life
之恩呢
parents.
从我们
To-
现在来
she
说，
want to
我们
light
的
a
智力
lamp for
只能
the
看到今世，对不
parent
对？
must write
那
past
今
life
世那个智
parents.
力差的都不认今世的父母，是吧？说
Because
前
we
世
have our
前两世的
current
父
life
母说
parents
连这个想法都没有
and our past
啊。所以
life.
佛陀告诉我们之
So
后呢
Buddha tell
再
us,
加上这个小周这个梦哈，
and
其实提醒我
from
们，
Xiao Zhou's
其实
dream,
我
it
们
remind
历代的这
us
个亲人哈，
that our
其实
many
挺多的。
generation of
为
relatives,
什么有
there are
的
a
人
lot
一
of
见某
them.
人就觉得哎特别开心？
That's why
啊
some
其实可
people
能就
when
刚
you
认
see
识
each other,
就
you
会有那种
feel
亲切
the
感那种
connection, you
应该是
feel
有
the
缘的。
familiarity in
对，
another
通常
party.
都是前世的关系特别
Usually
好，
it's because
才
your
有这种
past
感觉，对不
life
对？对。
you have very good
那所以的
relationship. That's
话，
why this life
那小周呢，
you feel good
平
when you
时
see
这
the
个做的功
person.
德，就这个时候就显出来了哈。对，祖宗又高兴啊，
So Xiao Zhou, you
而
have
且
been
你
doing
将
a
来
lot of
对你
good
的孩
merit,
子、子孙
and
都是有特别吉
your
祥的。
ancestors are happy, and these are good for your future generation too, your children and grandchildren.
真好。
So he's here to protect the young
对
generation.
这个祖宗就是显示说你那个功德起作用了哈。
It shows that
返回
the
来我
merit
呢
you have
还会
done is
把我
good, and
我
I
们的
will
后代
come
们
and protect
都
our younger
好
generation.
真好，
真好
小周继续为
represent
祖先
this
做功德，
是
祖先很开心。
嗯，这小周
那也给小
不错哈。
周一颗
小周
八宝灵珠。
嗯，一个很漂亮的珠子哈。
嗯，
嗯，好，希望这颗八宝灵珠呢，保佑我们
May
的
this
小周呢
auspicious be
这个
protect
长命
小周
百岁，全家幸福，
to have
子孙
longevity,
满
the whole
堂
family
佛光普
can
照。
be blessed
感恩师傅。
and auspicious.
那师傅，接下来哈，网友小何
Okay,
也
Master,
分
this
享给
is
师
Xiao
傅
He.
他想
He
请
wants
师
to
傅指导
share
他的往生的父亲
Master
去了哪里。
where his deceased
他说：“师
father
傅好，
went. He
弟
wants
子
to
的父
know.
亲在今
Say
年
hello,
3月
Master.
19号
My
去世。
father
父
passed
亲去世
away
后，我
on
为
the
父亲
19th of
在
March
菩提
this
禅
year.
修学
After
院网
that,
站点
I
了一
light
盏
a
诸
lamp
佛
for my
接引
father
49天
on the
往
website
生
of
的
Bodhi
超简
Meditation
灯，
Center
又为父亲赞助了塑佛金
for
身，
49
还
days.
为父亲在雨树
I
房
also
赞助
sponsor
了
a
佛说
golden
观
Buddha
无量
statue
寿
for my
佛经
father and
7
also
次，
sponsor
以及49
the
天
Buddha
内为父亲诵念了
chanting
地藏经
for my
50遍。
father in
我
Yu
真
Shu
诚的
Fang.
祈祷，父亲能够在师父和诸佛菩萨的慈悲加
Within
持
the
下，
49
往
days,
生
I
到极
did
乐世界， 摆脱
a
轮
lot
回
of
之
merit
苦
for my。father by
父
sponsoring.
亲生
I
生
sincerely
前
pray that
我
my
也有
father
为
can be
他点火
reborn
灯做
into
过赞助。
pure land
但
with
是父亲生
compassion
前
and
对
blessing
佛教虽然
of
有所
Buddha and
了解，
Bodhisattva.
并不相信，也不念佛修
Before my
行。
father
我
died,
曾
I
几
also
次
offered
试着
land.
向他介绍，
My
并
father
劝
had
说
some
他念
understanding
佛
of
修
Buddhism
行，
during his
但最
lifetime,
终
but
也
he
未
did
能
not
如
believe
愿。
in it,
我因此
and he don't
而
chant.
很苦
I
恼
tried
过。
several times to
父亲
introduce
去
and
世后，
persuade him to
我曾
chant,
在梦中
but in
梦
the
见
end
一
it
个
didn't
场
work.
景，
I was
父
troubled
亲
by
躺
this.
在
My
床
father
上，
passed away.
全
I
身洁
once had
白，
a dream
身
of a
上的有
sin.
一些
My
污
father
秽
was
已
lying
经
on a
掉
bed.
了。
His whole body
于
was
是我
white,
想带父亲
and
去
some
冲
of
冲
the
澡，
filth on
可
his
是
body
到了
has
淋浴的地
fallen
方，
off.
却发现
I
喷水
wanted to take
龙
my
头
father to
竟
take
然
a
没有
shower.
水，连续
And when I
找了
went to the
3个
shower,
喷
there
头
was
都
no
没有水。
water from
醒
the
来后，
facade.
我觉
There
得
was
可
no
能是
water
我
after
为
I
父亲
find
做
a
的功
few
德还是不够的，
tap,
于是又为父亲做了塑佛金
and I
身，
felt that the
并
merit is not enough, so I continued to do good merit for my father, hoping that he will go to a good place. At the end of June, I dreamt of my father again. He was resuscitated. So he was standing on the bridge of a river wearing ordinary clothes. I could see his face clearly. I couldn't see his face in my previous dream. This time, I saw my father smiling. His face was nice, and his face and clothes were much cleaner than before. And when I woke up, I thought that the dream was a good one. Just a few days ago, probably before our Dharma, I dreamt about my father, and I would like you to help me see where's my father now. Because in my dream, Master, you didn't mention where my father went to. I want to know which realm my father went to. So after I woke up, I was still confused. On the 13th of August, I took a nap. There were two people in my dream wearing grey clothes. I couldn't tell whether one of them was my father, but the thought that I have is that my father made noodle for me to eat. Before I could answer, suddenly my forehead seems to hit something hard, and there was two sound, tang tang sound, and I woke up immediately. I realized that this is not a good dream. Master, can you help to interpret my dreams? What do they mean? Where did my father go to? And he needs me to do more good deeds for him. Thank you, Master. Yeah, this is a whole dream. After the father passed on, he did a lot of light offering for the father and do good merit for the father. In the beginning, the father's body was good, but there was still some dirt on the body. He wanted to shower for the father, but there was no water. From tree facade, he tried to find tree facade, but they were all no water. So he felt that maybe the merit is not enough, so he continued to do more good merits for the father. From my understanding, why does he have to shower for the father? So the father's body is still dirty. What is dirt? It means probably means bad karma. So why do we have to shower the father? But there was no water from the tap. What does it mean? That means 3 lifetimes. The merit are not good enough. The father, the grandfather, and himself, 3 generations. Their good merit are not sufficient. So they couldn't clean off the dirt for the father. This is what it means. So when he woke up, he continued to do good merit. This is right. This is the right thing to do. So he continued to do more good deeds for the father. After he continued to dream after that. And this time around, he dreamed that his father standing on the bridge. And he looked good on his face. He was smiling. And he could see the father's face. Previously, he couldn't see his father's face. Yeah, a lot of time when you dream about our relative who have passed on, you usually couldn't see their face because it's very scary. So this time he could see the face, and the face looks good and smiling. So this is very auspicious. And the clothes and everything was clean. It means he have good merit. Now, standing on the bridge, what does it mean? Looking at him. So on the bridge, it means that he have to walk across. That means he will not suffer in hell anymore. It means that he's transient. In my idea, it means that the father went up to a different realm, maybe the heavenly realm. And Xiaohe also mentioned that in August, he had another dream again. This time, he saw 2 people wearing grey clothes, and one of them, he don't know whether it was his father, but he says that your father made noodle for you to eat. Before he could reply, his head hit something hard, and he woke up. He didn't eat the noodle. So from what I feel, the 2 persons in grey, in your dream, if you see somebody in grey shirt, black or grey shirt, it could mean inauspicious. So it says that the father wants him to eat noodle. It means the ghost is here to cheat him. If he went with the ghost, it will hurt him. Some people, when they go off with the ghost, they could not come back to life. Some may have just left. So for him, he didn't die. So what is this sound? Tang tang tu sound. I felt that it's the Buddha, Dharma protector, that's waking him back from his dream, so that he's not being tricked. So it's still good merit, so that in his house there's Dharma protector protecting him. This is good. So he learned from master, so he doesn't get cheated, and the father gets to go to heavenly realm. It's good, it's auspicious, and he's protected by the Dharma protector.
好，那我们送给小何哈，送给你2颗吧。
Let's give her 2 beads.
送你2颗八宝灵珠，祝福你呢，如意吉祥，
May you be auspicious,
健康长寿，
healthy, and enjoy good
佛光
long
普照
life. May the Buddha light shine upon you. Thank you, Master. Next is Ning Ning. Share about the generous mother-in-law. Hello, Master. I'm Ning Ning. I dreamt of my mother-in-law last night. It seems that the drain pipe in our house leaked dirty water to the unit downstairs, and the people came to look for me. In a dream, the person who came to look for me is my mother-in-law. This time, she looked rich and wealthy, she dressed well, and she said she's looking for me, but she's not angry. She smiled and hugged me and let me walk with her, and I don't know where we are going. I got married in 1992. When I got married, my father-in-law had passed on. After marriage, my relationship with my mother-in-law was neither good nor bad, because my husband and I work in the town, and my mother-in-law live in her hometown and rarely come back. So my brother and sister-in-law, they were living in the village. So my mother-in-law was very poor and broke down. So my father-in-law the health was okay, and she has been cooking for my brother and sister-in-law at home. So in 2010, my mother-in-law fell and broke her leg. I don't know how the family discussed it, but at that time, they do the conservative treatment and did not do any surgery, and she recovered slowly. At that time, my mother-in-law was already 80 years old, and she was not as good. She couldn't stand up until her death in 2012. In fact, for the past 20 years, I've hardly had any relationship with my mother-in-law because my mother-in-law was not very good to me. So my parents worked. My mother-in-law family was still... I despise them a little. So after I learned from Master, I deeply repent on this point. So once my mother-in-law lived in our house for 2 weeks, and I did not treat her with special care. I just cook and wash clothes normally and help my mother-in-law take a shower. That was quite normal. I add another layer of cushion for her. My husband didn't want. I realized that it is a lie. I just feel that I don't like my mother-in-law. My husband don't listen to me and wanted to remove the cushion. I couldn't control myself, and in front of my mother-in-law, I had an argument with my husband, and we were both very angry. So my husband sent my mother-in-law back to the village. When he was carrying my mother-in-law down the stairs, I feel very bad. So I took my mom's clothes and wanted to let my mother-in-law wear it as a form of showing sorry to her. So in year 2011, I found Master on the internet and saw the video that Master mentioned. So Master's teaching is like nectar illuminating my foolish brain. And at that time, I realized there are so many things that I do not understand. There are so many things that I didn't do well. I have lived in veil. So I'm very grateful to Master and repent to my mistake. One day I had a dream. I dreamt that I gave my mother-in-law a banana and my mother-in-law was cured. I woke up from the dream and I thought that it was very real. I told my husband and we bought a bunch of bananas and visit my mother-in-law. At that time, she was lying on bed and couldn't get up anymore. I took the banana and told my mother, I had a dream last night. I dreamt that you ate a banana that I gave you and you are cured. My mother-in-law looked at me with weak eyes and it seems like she couldn't eat anything at that time. 2 to 3 months passed on and I really want to see Master. So I went to see Master in year 2012 to Korea to see Master. And when I was in Korea, my husband called to tell me that my mother-in-law had passed away. At that time, I didn't know anything about lighting lamp or building good marriage for her. I just had a thought in my mind that I hope the Buddha and Bodhisattva will help my mother-in-law. Later, I learned a lot of things through learning Buddhism and meditation. Wherever I have the opportunity, I would do good deeds. And I light 3 lamps for my mother-in-law and my husband's ancestors. I dreamt about my mother-in-law 3 times in total. Once before her death, twice after her death, as I mentioned twice, and once after my mother-in-law died, I dreamt about the water that came down. So there was once I dreamt about my mother-in-law. We have some happy occasion. My mother-in-law was here. She dressed well. Seems like she was doing very well. Master, this is a story between me and my mother-in-law. After listening to Master's talk today, I also sponsor a golden body for Bodhisattva, and I did the same for my mother-in-law too. So what does it? Ask Master, what do my dream mean? And what kind of things do I have to pay attention to in the future? Thank you, Master. Ning Ning is very frank. She just shared a part of her life with us. And she also feels very guilty. You can say maybe when she was young, she don't know how to interact with people, especially her parent-in-law. As a daughter-in-law who is married into this family, your parent-in-law may not be so cultured or kind, or they are just very simple people from the village. She may not have studied much at all. This is something that will affect them because there are a lot of things that they couldn't learn because they couldn't read. And because they are working, they are living in a village, they are poor. And in the village, it may seem a bit dirty because there are a lot of dust and dirt everywhere. So when the mother-in-law comes, she wanted to put more cushion because it seems dirty. They want to let her sit directly on the sofa. She mentioned about all these small details. So she said she had a dream that there was dirty water that leaked out from her place to downstairs. And the person who lived downstairs is a mother-in-law. So what is the water, dirty water that leaked from their house? It's the dirt from their mind. Because they were young, they don't know what's right and wrong. Like you marry into the family, this husband is brought up by the father and mother, his father and mother. They are related by blood. You cannot cut that off. This is forever love between a parent and a child. So a lot of female, you love the man and you married him. And you will have the thought that this husband is mine. I love him. Why do you love my husband too? All these are insensible. So she loved this person and married the person and have children. So it's just like her dream. The things you did were all insensible. The water that leak out from your house are all dirty. It's just like you throw all your rubbish to your mother-in-law, and your mother-in-law receive all the rubbish because the water flow downstairs, and downstairs is the mother-in-law. So the mother-in-law wear very well. What does it mean? The mother-in-law is more cultured than her. She's telling her that don't worry, I do not, I'm fine. So a lot of time in this situation, when your dirty water flow downstairs, the person who were downstairs will come up and stare at you. But the mother-in-law is not. So in her heart, it seems like the mother-in-law have forgiven her. Maybe that's how the mother-in-law thinks. She's a good mother-in-law. But of course, our online friend Ning Ning is also very frank. She mentioned that she was so insensible when she was young. So after she learned from Master, she finally understands what's right. Yeah, you have to, because if your sometimes a husband may have another girlfriend outside. Why is that so? Because you have nothing to let him love you forever. Like when the mother came and the mom is a bit dirty and you despise her, his parents. So when I say that, for those people who have bad relationship with their husband, you have to see how do you take care of their mother. If you take care of their mother well, your husband will definitely love you a lot. This is important. It's just like the foundation in your house. If you do not even understand this, whoever get married, you probably will not have a blissful marriage life. Because you do not know this basic concept. Like there was one part she mentioned that she put on additional cushion because she thinks her mother-in-law is dirty, and she had an argument with the husband. And the mother-in-law just left. This is only one example. I believe before that, there are a lot of other things that she did because she despised the mother-in-law. Is it stupid? Like you married someone who is a butcher, and then you complain and say that he smells of meat. Pork, yeah. So there's an old saying, if you married, whoever you married, you got to go with him. Just like if you married a chicken, you live like a chicken, you marry a dog, you live like a dog. So whoever you married, you do not despise the other party. You do not say that I'm from the city and you're from the village. Do not have that thought in your mind, or else you will never live in peace with each other. Don't keep thinking that you are from the city and they are from the village and you are the upper hand. It may not be that case. So people in the village may say that I have nothing, so what am I afraid of? What about you in the city? You have investment, you have a lot of things. You cannot afford to lose. Just as Singaporeans say that they cannot afford to lose. Why is that so? Because you don't want to lose face. But all this are worth nothing. What's important is you must be able to have food on the table. But once you have enough food to eat, you start to think of other things. You must learn to respect, especially respect your family and the family who you marry into, especially if they are lower than you in their environment, financially. You have to learn to respect them. Respect them from the bottom of your heart, so that your action will show that you really respect them.
你能装几天呢？对不对？
There's no way you
那
can
么结
fake
果
it
一旦
because how
展
long
示
can
出
you
来一
fake?
定就是伤害，一伤害你们能不分手吗？
And if you despise them, you hurt each other. When you hurt each other, of course your relationship with your husband will not be smooth sailing. You may break up.
白狐狸精小三儿把我男人勾走了，啊，
And
对吧？
that's
都去
when
找这
your
样的一个
husband
理
may
由。
have other girlfriends out
其
there
实应
who
该
are
需要我们
kind
反思，
to
我
him.
们做了什么？
So
啊
you really have to think,
哎，我
what
这个
have
不
you
光是个
done?
女人，这个结婚双方都一样，啊，嫁鸡随
Okay,
狗
so when
宰
we talk about this, it doesn't only mean the female party. It could be the husband as well.
下了板凳跟着绝症头。
So whoever you marry, just follow them. Respect the family.
对，就是要，其实你要顺从和尊重
You
你
have to
的
learn
结
to
婚对象
respect
的这个家庭，
your
这个比
the other
比
part,
尊重
your
你结婚的
partner,
这个对
as
象
well as
还
this
重要。
family.
因为人在一起相处哈，越是变成亲戚的时候，
Because
这
when
个相处的
people
时
live
候
together,
就包括同学大学毕业之
including
后走向社会，10 年
students.
之后，大学同学来个聚会吧，
So after 10 years, maybe you and your friends come to meet
桌上的
together
这个
again.
资格都没有，给他赶出去的时候，我告诉你，你离明年死就很近了，
So maybe there are people who are
对不对？
rich and who
那
are
不就是伤
poor.
害吗？
But you
干
have
嘛这
to,
样？你们本来就是
you
来自于
shouldn't hurt
同一
each
个
other because
生
all
长的
of
学习
you
环
came
境，
from
对
the
不对？
same school,
今天
from
就
the
是你
same
运气
class.
好，你生活得
Today
不
you're
错。
lucky and you have a
明
better
天这位
life.
今天看着落魄的这位
But
老兄，
tomorrow,
明天如果
this
发了
person
财
who
了，
looks poor to you
他能把你给
may
逼
be
了吗？
rich the next
对
day.
不
What
对？
will
所
happen?
以稍稍看得长远一点，也不至于瞧不起那些
So if we
今天
learn to look
觉
in
得
the
不
long
如你
term,
的
we
人，
will not despise people who are
是
not
吧？
as good
所
as
以
you
要学会
today.
至少有一个，比如说天眼哈，要看长久，
So we must learn
长
to
久的目
look
光
in the
看
long
人哈，
term.
那你就会吓得会尊重所有的人。
And then you will learn to respect
你看
everybody
也是
around
知
you.
错就改，师傅。啊，
对，这是个好人。
对
哎，
她之后呢，就给婆婆供灯，
对。
So
然后
after
给她
that, she
新生
offered
的
light
祖先
to
都
her
供灯，
mother-in-law
然后又做梦梦到婆婆
and
了
her father.
这时候梦见家有喜事了，
Her
婆婆穿得很漂亮来了，心情也很好，
her
过得也
husband's
很好。
ancestors, and then she dreamed that
对，我
the
相信他的家庭
mother-in-law
关系也
came
改
to
变。
her. She looks good,
这样
dressed
她心里
well,
也多安慰啊哈。
嗯，
对，不然的话也是一直
and she
怀着
felt
一个
good
愧疚
too,
的
or else
心
she
对，
always
否
feel
则
guilty for
否
the
则
rest
你
of her
对这个
life.
婆婆不好，婆婆她心里头能喜欢你
If you
吗？
are bad to your mother-in-law, she wouldn't love you.
她怀着这
There's
种耻辱
hatred in
感
her heart,
死
in
去
her
了。
mind, and
请问
then
她变成了灵魂，她爱你
when
吗？
she has
不
passed
会
on,
呀，
do you
如果
think her
她
soul
报
will
复
love
心想
you?
报复你呢？
就是，
What if she's
对不对？
angry and she
你
wants to
是要
come
给她
and
插
look
脖
for
子，要不挖
revenge?
你心脏，
对，
对不对？要不咬你的脚趾头。
Maybe
说
she'll
为
bite
什么
your
有很多人
toes
睡觉
or
就脚痛，
try to
心脏憋闷的慌，
对，
啊，
是吧？
do
你
something
得
to your
罪什么样
heart,
的人呢？
scratch your heart,
对
snatch
不
your
对？
heart.
所以这个真的也，其实讲的稍微让你看远一点的时候，还有
So
恐
when
怖
we
片儿
look
等
into
着
the
你。
long term,
哎，就是坏事儿就在前头等着你，有的时候越是离得越近，越容
you
易
will
伤
know
害，
that
对不对？
you have to be
你伤害谁
careful.
不好？你伤害结婚家
The
庭的
closer
这
you
个
are with the
成员
person,
啊，
the
尤
more
其
you
是
could
对
hurt the
方是长
person.
辈，你是晚辈，你还那么霸道，
And furthermore,
你
you
还
are
瞧
the
不起
younger
他，那不是
generation,
真死
and
傻
they are
子。真的
your
需要
your
学
partner
佛啊
parents
你
are
们幸亏你
higher
来学
generation
啊
than you. You should
要不然自己做
show
这种傻事，
respect.
让自己跳火坑的事
Do
情
not
都是你们干的。
所以这佛法师
create
傅这个
trouble
佛
for
法的力量
yourself.
多重要，跟了师傅学以后，这死傻子
So
都变智
Master
慧
teach
了
us a lot,
嗯，
但是多少女人是这种死傻子啊？
都
对不对？
得来学。
and
所
whoever
以
is
把自
stupid
己
will become
轰
wise
轰烈烈的
again.
爱情
How
变
many
成一
women
场
are like
轰
that?
轰烈烈的一场烈士啊！说从爱情变成烈士是吧？这个真的没有意思。
爱
From
情片儿变
love
成恐怖片儿
It
没错
becomes
嗯，
a
真的都是自己找
frightening
的，这是不懂
experience
事。
because they are
所以说
stupid. They do not
爱情这个事情啊
understand.
其实也是社交。
When we
知道
talk about love, it's
吗
also
这
about
好不容易
interacting with
把这
other
个男人
people.
搞定，就是你们女人哈。
Like
好
for
不容易
you
把这个男
women,
人搞
you
定
finally
但是
got
你
the
不是把他
man
后头那个老太太
to
搞
marry
定
you, but
就是
do you
你的爱
manage
情
to
变成
take
失
care
败
of the
知道吗？
mother, his
所以这个
mother?
那说有人说我不会社交啊，我
Some
根
people
本
say,
不
I
懂
do
得
not
社
know
交
how to interact
但
with
你
other
懂得尊
people.
重嘛？
But
那
do
学
you
会
know
去尊重
respect?
你就会幸福。
Once you learn
好
how to
吧
respect other
我们不
people,
一定非
you
要
will have a
学习
blissful
那种什
marriage.
么那种社交高手，对不
We
对
do？not learn
啊，
need
谈
to
判高
be
手，
very
那是
good
职
at
业性的。我
interacting.
们作为一个
or very good at negotiating,
平静和幸福的
but
人
we
来说
just
的话
want a
请你
peaceful
千万
life.
要记住，懂得去尊
So
重。
please
尊
remember
重尤其是
to
和你最
respect.
相关的这个家庭
Respect
关系的
people
人
who are
就和你
closest to you,
结婚
who
的
are
这个对象的家人。
your
你要瞧
partner,
不起他的家
your
人，请你
marriage
不要去
partner,
嫁给
family.
也好，娶她也好，他有这样的家庭背景的。
If you
你为
married
什
the
么不打听
person,
好他
you
的
have
家
to
族
know
是
what kind
干
of
啥的？
family
他是农
background
村
he
你瞧不
has.
起他，你是城市的，你城市那么好，干嘛非嫁给
If
农
you
村
think
的
that
人？
you're from the city and
对不
he's
对？
from the
你既然是
village
那么
and
大
you
富豪家庭，你
despise
为什
him,
么非嫁
why
给
do you
歹
want to
族的人？
marry them? You
这
can
说明
choose
还是
another
不够资格嘛，
person.
嫁个好家庭，对不对？所以那既然是这样，你应该要认命，你要
And
尊
if you
重对
couldn't
方。
marry someone
你
in the
不尊重
city, you
对
marry
方，
someone
你
in
就
the
死定了。
village.
尤
Of
其
course,
你
you
嫁
have
给
to
了
learn to
仇
accept
富
it.
家庭，你不尊重对方，
And you
最
have
后
to
你会
respect them.
得到什么样的结果呢？
If you marry a butcher and then you do not respect the
就
family,
木马
what will
那个故事，
happen to you?
木马屠城就来了。所以就千
The
万
story
学
will
会
be
去
just like
尊重
Troy.
知道吗？
So you must learn to
你
respect
像我
each
们走到
other.
很多地方，你也不懂他那个宗教啊，那个信仰啊，
Like we go
就
to
是这
many
样就会
places,
给
you
人
don't know
反光
about their
然后走到
religion
哪都会觉
and their
得
belief.
怀这种恭敬的心，
So you must always have
哎
a
要这样子
respectful
才少
heart
惹是非，
so that you do
否
not
则
create
挨
trouble.
顿揍都不知道咋回事儿，对不
Or
对？
else you don't
你
know
就挨
when
揍
you
了。
broke
所以
their
那因为你
rules or show
不懂吧，就是
disrespectful
乱
to them.
说，尤其是不尊重的这个心理，在之后表示出来都是不尊重的
The
行为。
most important is your heart have to be
尊重
respectful. If you are
所以
respectful in the
尊重是
heart,
特
your
别重要
action will
啊。
also be respectful.
所以不一定学习社交，但是要学会尊重，啊，在尊重当中还有最重要的，你婆婆不管多脏
And
多
when you
臭，
respect
她
your
病了
parent,
之后，说明大小便都
your
在床上，
partner's
你作为媳妇，你
mother-in-law,
应该伺候
no
好
matter
对方。
how dirty
啊，
or
有人说，
smelly the
哎，你
person
妈拉
is,
的屎真臭
when
啊，
he's sick
等等
and
的。那等
and
你
is
呢
very
躺在
dirty,
床上，
you
家
cannot
你儿子媳妇
complain.
都不理你，
You
一
have
个
to
人干
take
脆床上
care
拉
of
着算了，
her, no
对
matter
不
what.
对？真有这样的人，就是一个人死在屋里，2年之后才被邻居闻着有尸
There are
臭味
such
儿。
cases when somebody
那
died in
他
the
就警
house,
察
and
打开
only
门
2
进去一
years
看，说
later,
这个人已
when
经
the
剩下一堆
house
白骨了，
smell, people
对不对？最
come,
后变成那么可
people
怜，对不
realize
对？
that the person have
哎，所
died.
以一定要学会尊重，
So you must
才
learn to
能人
respect
家不排斥你，对不
the
对？
other party so that
你
they
不要
will
霸
not
道，不要看你今
they
天
will
的什么富
take
贵
care of you
呀、
too in the
年轻
future.
啊、美貌啊、体力
Although you
呀、
may be
什么
beautiful
知识
now, you
啊，
may be
在死亡
rich, you
面
may be
前
young
一律
now,
平等，
but
人和猪都
in
是
the
平
eye
等
of death,
啊。
everybody
就
is
在
the
死亡面
same.
前就是那一口气，就是那一把血，一旦撒完了，谁都会死的。
It's that
啊，
breath. Once
所以
it's
一定
gone,
要
it's
学会
gone.
尊
Everybody
重，
will die
尊重，
eventually.
尊重
So you
啊，
must
我们才
always
会有
learn
好
to
的命
respect.
运啊。
感恩师傅。
嗯，
When you're
那我
respectful,
们
you
也
have
送
a
给
good
您
life.
一颗宝珠。
当然好，嗯。
Okay, let's give Ning Ning a treasure bead.
好，祝福宁宁哈和你们全家人哈都能够如意吉祥。
May Ning Ning and your
佛光普照，
family be
心想事
auspicious.
成，
May the Buddha
万
light
事吉
shine
祥
upon
哈。
you
收到，
and your
感恩
wishes
师
comes
傅。
true.
嗯，
那接
Thank
下来给
you,
师傅带来我们网友晴空他的一个梦境。
Okay,
小
next
弟
is a
马
story
车
of Qing Kong.
好，
他说：“师傅好，
Say,
我8
Hello,
月14
Master.
号的晚
On
上，我
the
的母
14th
亲
of
做了
August,
这
my
样
mother
一
had
个
a
梦。
dream
母亲梦见我
about my
英
younger
年早
brother
逝的小
who
弟，
died
精
young.
神状态很好，
He
心
was
情
in
也
a
很
good
好。
state of
小
mind
弟是
and in a good
2016
mood.
年往
My
生的，
younger brother
这些
died
年来，我妈妈
in
都没有梦到过
2016, and my
他。
mother had
但是在
not
8
dreamt
月
of
14
him
号
all
的
these
下午，
years.
我给他点
But
了
on the
地藏
14th
王
of
菩萨结缘
August,
灯。
in the
上
afternoon,
个
I
月观音
lighted
菩萨祭的时
a
候，
Earth Star
我也给他点了
Bodhisattva
一个
light
12
for
天的
him.
祈福超荐
Last
灯。
month, during
这些
the
年
Guanyin
来，我一
Bodhisattva
直都有在禅堂
session,
给
I
他
also
点
light
灯，
a
希望
12
他
days
在另
lamp
一
for
个世
him.
界
Over
能
the
够过
years,
得好。
I've been helping him
今
light
天
lamp
早
in a
上，
meditation
我早完
center.
报
Hope
告
that
回来，
he
妈妈
is
跟
well
我
in the
说
other
梦
world.
见小弟了，
This morning,
说在梦
when
中
I
小
came
弟
back
买
from
了
my
一辆
energy
二手
Bagua
轿车，
practice, my mom
颜
told
色
me
是
that she
黑
dreamt
色
of
的，
my
价
brother.
格是
He
12
brought
万
a
5千
second-hand
元，
car that
还
was
带
black
了
in
3个
color
修车师傅来
and
修
cost
车。修好
125
车后
yuan.
呢，在家
He
里又
also
请了
brought
3个修车
three
师傅
car
吃了一顿
mechanics
家
and
常便
it. After that,
小弟感觉没有招待周到，
he
又给
invited
人
the
多拿
tree
了5000元
mechanic
表示
home
感
to
谢。
have a meal.
所以呀，
My
一共花
younger
了
brother
13
felt
万
that
买
he
这
did
辆
not
车。
and
祈请
treat
师
them
傅帮
well
忙
and
解
gave
梦，
them
这
extra
个梦到底
5,000
带给我
yuan
们
to
什么
express
样
his
的寓意？
gratitude.
感恩师
So
傅。
in total, he spent 130,000 yuan.
对，
挺有意思的。
So, ask Master, can you help me to
这个他妈妈
interpret the
做梦这
dream?
个时
Thank
间
you,
首先是
Master.
哈，也是这个姐姐先给他点了灯，哎，然后
So
当
in
天
this
晚上
dream,
妈
the
妈就
sister
做梦
helped the brother light a lamp, and the mom had a dream.
对，哎，就那个18块特别
对，
结了个圆。
妈妈终于梦到，之前都没
It's a
梦到这个
simple
项目。
like
梦到什么了呢？
$18.
梦到弟弟买了一辆
So the mom
二
had a
手车
dream. The mom dreamt that the brother, younger brother, brought
妈妈还记得一清二楚，12
a
万
car, and the mom can still remember the amount of money that he used.
还请了3个修车师傅在
120,000
里
元
修整哈，还给
And he
请人吃
even
了一顿饭。
get people to
对
come,
完了觉得
mechanics
丈
to
夫不
repair
中
the
了又补了
car
5000
and treat
加
them
一
with
块
food.
13万。
13万。
And then
嗯
in the end,
那
the
那
brother
梦就
felt that
就这样
she
了。
didn't treat them well
解
and
梦。
gave them
首
extra
先弟
money,
弟他
extra
算是夭
tips.
折哈。
对，英年
So the
41
brother,
岁
little
后
brother
走
died young.
这种也我都认为叫夭折
是
哈。
是，
对，通常是最可惜的。
对。
哎，
It is a
看着长大
pity
长大一长大走了。
Because
是吧
usually
这
for
个
a child, you
白
see,
发人
you
送
wanted
黑
them
发
to grow
人
up,
哈，是
and
最
then
痛苦的。
halfway through they just pass
可是
on.
呢
It's very
我们
sad
网
for
友
the
晴空
parents.
呢，为家人都做了这功德哈。
But for our online friend, she has been light, offering light for the family members.
那个结缘灯哈，也就是最便宜这个结缘
And
灯
this is the cheapest lamp,
这个妈妈
$18.
开始感应到了。
For the
哎，
brother
他
and
这
the
个往
mom
生
had
的
a
这个英
dream
年往生的这个弟弟呢，
对，
哎，要买车，
that this brother wanted to buy a
还
car.
买12万5，
对，
12万5，还这个数字这么具体。
She can even remember
完
the,
了之后呢，
the
毕竟
figure,
是
the
二
amount
手
of
车
money
嘛
that the
他
brother
找
spent on
了
the car,
3个修
on
车
the
师傅
motorbike,
，3个修
on
车
the
师
car.
傅。
And then she, on the car.
完了以后招
And
待人
then
吃饭，
he even
之后说
had
心里
3
不要人家再
mechanics
给
and
5000
get
块
3
钱，加起来
mechanics.
是多少
13万。
？13万。
So in total, he
所以我在想
spent
呢，
130,000.
在我们华人当中，也哲学之中哈，
So in
哲
our
学和
Chinese
数学之
saying,
间的关系，
when we talk about
在中国的最
figures,
传统哲学之中就有了。有一句话叫做“道生一，
there's a
一生
saying,
二，二生三，三生万物
Tao give birth to
你们准
one,
听说过吧？
one becomes
对，三生万物，
three,
是
three
指它
becomes
是传播发展无限，
thousands.
就生机勃勃，就挡不住了。啊，就这个概念哈。那么这个
Tree becomes a
13呢
Tao, a
首先
lot.
这里头
It will grow
他别
to a
忘了
lot.
12万5再加上5000就变成了13，对不对？
对，
10呢叫圆满，
10, every
是
10
满分了。
is like
还有
completion.
呢，也代表着财富。
It also represents
那么
wealth.
这个3呢，就代表转世。3是转弯
So
的，
100,
是不是开车走了？
33,
他
tree
就是
means
买车是
a
为了啥
change.
呢
It's a
要
you
离
like
开这里，
a turn.
要离开要走了。
That means it's
那么如
leaving
果在阴间离开
this
去哪里
place.
呢？
So if
转
he's
世
leaving hell, where is he going to? He's going to be
要
reborn.
到人间来，我的感觉是到
Maybe
人
to
间
the
来。
human
这个
world,
10 代
he'll be
表的是
reborn.
富贵哈，
对，
就是
10
正常的富贵，不是
one
巨富哈。正常富
represent
贵人家，
normal riches. It's not
转世
super
了
rich, normal
这个
riches.
机会就来
He'll
了。
be reborn.
所以呢，这是我不知道他是个姐姐还是哥哥哈，就为这个弟弟做了这样的一个结缘。
对，
So he has helped the
立刻
brother
这小弟立
And
刻
the
就
little
得到佛
brother
菩萨给他赶快让他走吧。
is able to be reborn.
而且转世投胎的这个人家，一个是富贵哈，还不
And
缺
the
钱
family
再
that
一
he's
个
going
的
to
话
born
他肯
to
定他
has
车牌
money. He don't have to worry about money, and he has
就是这个
car.
小弟呢
车转世，
是带着财富转世的，啊，这个财富转世都是
That means he's
与
reborn
我
with
们这个
wealth.
发心人是这个晴空哈，你
给
作为
他点灯做功德
姐姐也好，哥哥也好，给他做功德有关系。
It's because
对
this brother or
所以那个你
sister
带给
of
他
his
那
have
一
helped
世
him
的
to
这个
do
做
good
功德的
merit
这一点点，这18块钱
by
让
offering
父
light.
让你的小弟都能沾光，将来就是1比1万倍以上，让他获得财富，是这样的。
坐着
那
2手车就转世了。
不是，对师傅，我有个问题啊，为啥他还不买
Master,
新车？为啥
why
买
he
二手
doesn't
车
buy a
呢
new
因为他
car?
这
Why
个
did he
功
buy
德
a
没那么
second-hand
大
car?
哦
Because he doesn't have a very good
忘了
merit.
咱们像为什么都像傻子一样？为什么到清明节，包括你最亲人的人去世，都烧很多
So why during
之前
Qingming
纸钱
Festival
尤其是
we have to burn
尤其
things
是传统人
for
来说
the
用纸做
deceased
的
衣服、
过
relative?
去轿子啊、马
Like
呀、
last time they
牲
were
口啊
衣服、
对
房子，
还有衣
They will
服、
burn
房子
clothes,
现在还有人烧车的，
对
还有人
cars,
烧的那个车不是宝马就是奔
houses.
驰，是不是啊？因为别的车也不懂哈。哎，那在台湾黑社会一个大哥死
So
了之
in
后
Taiwan,
哎
there
还
was
做了
a
AK
secret
47冲
society
锋枪还
chief who died.
真
They
的
also
一样
burned a
说
gun
老大
for
生
him.
前就喜欢这个。
He said he
哎
loved gun
这
when
这
he
是
was
活人的
alive.
心意哈。
So
但是
this
死人能不能收到
are
呢？
thoughts
都能
from the people who are living.
哎， 这个阴阳这个两
But
个世
will
界
the
沟通的话，只能把
spirit
东
be
西
able
烧
to
了，
receive
才能
them?
收到，就是这样的。
Yes, they can
所以我
receive
们在
them.
佛前做那份功德的时
So
候，
whatever good merit
你
that we
就
do
是
in
你
front
给
of
他
the
40
Buddha,
万，他得到不是40万，是4个亿，
what they will
就是无
receive
限放大了。
哦，
is
那是不
expand
是如果这个
to many,
这
a
个
lot
清空
more.
给弟弟当时不是这18块钱的结
So
缘灯，
maybe
如果是
when
最高
Qing
档
Kong
的那
liked
个哈
the most
44天的
expensive
然后
lamp
给
for
他
the
满额
brother,
的这个灯的话，
咱比如说花了
Maybe-
1000块钱，
对对对，
那这个
maybe
弟
she
弟
spent
升到
$1,000 instead of
在人间的
$18
话
to offer the lamp.
那一定是下
So
一个
when the
家产
brother come back
哦，那肯定
to
不会
leave
二手车了吧。
is reborn, the brother will
你看
definitely
过
live
李
in
嘉
a
诚开
very
二手
rich
车吗
family. He will not be buying a
二手飞机
second-hand
他不
car.
稀罕开呀，
李嘉诚自己都不开车，人坐车。
这坐车也得坐好的嘛，
对呀，
配个司机，
So you definitely
对
buy
司
a
机还
very
得挑来
expensive car.
万里挑一，是吧？那人家是大富大贵的人啊，是吧？所以那你在这个一个人生来的那个富贵来说，不是靠你这一世的智力，而是靠你的
So
这个
your
福气。
riches doesn't
这个
come
福气就是功德
only from whatever you
啊，
do
就是
in
你
this
在佛前
lifetime.
的
It
这个
also
发
from
心，
your previous
哎，
life,
就是让你
or
这
how
个受
much
益者嘛。
how
就
much
是
you
现在这位
offer
晴空
in front of the
为他
Buddha.
这个弟弟，做的这个功德，才花了18
But
块
the
钱，
good merit that
让
Qing
弟弟
Kong
又
did
买
for
了
the
二手车，
brother
又转世成为富人，这是多大的一个回
the
报啊！
brother is able to
舍一得万嘛。
不是你要
to
从投
born
资学来
into
说，
a
这
good
叫100
family.
万利的这
This
个，
is a lot more
是
better.
对，
这确实是这
The
样。
return is a lot
所以一
more
听啊
higher
就
than
觉
what
得
she has
如果新来的网友一听，
offered.
就觉得我们几个在开
So for
玩笑。
someone who is
其
new,
实
who
我
come
在
to
20多岁的
to
时候，
our
我已
talk
经就发现
and
了
may
这个
think
秘
that we
密。
are joking.
那个刚开始发现的时候，我叫欣喜若狂。我
Actually,
想
I
谁都不要
found
告诉
about
我，这
this
是个
secret
秘密。
accidentally.
现在咱们
When I
说着
found
说
about
着
this,
说
I was
出
so
来了，
happy. I
就
didn't
是
want to share this
但是
secret with
说出来你也不
anybody.
一定做，
But
你
since
还
we
得
talk
想这
about
是
it
忽
now,
悠人的，
but not
这是
everybody
骗
will
人
do
的。
it,
这
even
个
if
只能这
you
么说
have
哈，
found the
就
secret.
看你有福气，
Some
你
people
知
may
道我
think
说
that
的
this
是实
is
话。
cheating.
那你没这个福
These
气，
are just a
是吧？你也
joke.
不信，你也不会
But
去
if,
做，
of course,
对
if
不
you
对？
do not have that good
那有时候
fortune,
人
you
家
do
发
not
了心跑，你
believe,
自己要
and you
报
do
警，
not do it,
你可以把这个发信息供养任何一个佛的道场哈，你们都
you
会
can
获得
send,
同
you
样那
can
么
make
巨大的
offering
那
to
样一个
any
回报，知道吗？
center.
你
You
供养
will
任何
also
一个真正
receive
佛门
good
的修行人，
return
你会获得那个
if
就
you
数不尽的这个福
if
气
you
啊，
do
这是
offering
必然
to
的事情啊，这是我自己的一
any
个
Buddhist
一个
association. I believe you have the
一个
good
一个
return
经验
too.
啊，
This is
我
my
也分享给你
experience
哈。
sharing with
所
you.
以我们晴空网友的这个弟弟
So for
转
晴
世
空
二手车13万这个事儿啊，应该说你就放心吧啊，
The
弟弟已经
brother
转世到
had
人
this
间，
second
而
hand
且这一次
with
生来就是富贵人
$130,000.
家，好吧？
You
他将
can
来
rest
开的
assured
肯
that
定
your
不是二手车，
brother
你
will
放
be
心就好
born
了。
into a
真太好
good
了。
最起
family,
码是
and he will
1000
not
的
drive
哎呦
a，second-hand
有没
car.
这型号？
未来会有的吧？
我看到最多的
I
就是
believe you
奔驰
drive a better
S600
car.
是最贵的了，哎，对吧？
嗯，
但为这个事儿，估计奔驰厂还得为你弟弟定做一辆，就叫1000。对你有那么大财富吗？给你定
Do you
做。
have such good riches?
对，这听起来悬吗？一点儿都不悬。
听起来很高兴啊。
对，
It sounds
人家说
happy.
真正有这份功德，就有那么大的福气。
If you have that
有
good
那么大福气的人
merit,
哈，
you will have that good
就是躺着
fortune,
睡懒觉都能发大财，
and you will
知
be
道吗？
rich even if you just lie down
你们都
there.
不敢相信哈。
Take
就
a
是印
siesta.
度，我现在想起来另外一个人
I
哈。
remember another person.
你们知道，在过去的近200-300年以内，
Do you know
被
that for
西
the
方人
past
发现说印
200-300
度其实是一
years
个在过去来说是一个
the
钻
Western
石的
realized that
这么产地，
India
都不知道吧？
is a
你们
diamond export
智慧连这都
country.
不知道，
Do you know
那我
that?
就显摆一下啊，我
Let
就
me
告诉
tell
大
you.
家，印度曾经是这个世界
India
上
used to
最
be
大
the
的
world
这个钻石
greatest
产地。后来
exporter
呢
for
就是开发的
diamond.
多了嘛，应该100-200年前开发的多了。
So in
哎
about
但
100,
是
200 years
在
ago.
印度整个
But
这
in
个
India,
出产这个钻石的，在欧洲在世界上就出名了啊。但是在当
so
时
in
这
Europe,
个
it was very
印度
popular.
有一个家
By
族，
that
我
time,
忘记那个家族的名字了哈
There。was a
那个家族
family, which I cannot
是
remember
他
who
们
they
雇
are.
了最多的人，他们家资本比较
So
大
they
嘛哈
engage
超级大财
The
主。
most
他
people,
雇了最多的人，买
workers
了更
because
多的
they
矿
are
山来这个
they are very
来
rich,
来去
so they
筛选
engage a lot
来
of
来寻
people
找
they
这个钻
buy
石。
the land
嗯，
to
上
mine
条
for
已经叫
diamond.
世界，当时他们家队在钻石这个行业之中是钻石全世界第一。
So they are the world number one.
那么
exporter for diamond.
当他们开发钻石，开发到已经说，哎呀，实在像样的钻石都找不着了。现在手表
So they
边上
mined
的
till
钻
they
石他们
couldn't
都不
find
稀罕
really
捡
good
说那个渣
diamond.
子都不要，这要
Like
的
the
像玉
diamond that
米
you
粒儿那么大以
see
上
in
的，
your watch,
都
to
是5
them
克拉
it's
以上
like
才叫钻石。
they are not what
其
they
他的
want.
就
They are
是
too
渣子。
small. They see
现
it
在
as
大家戴的钻石都是渣子啊。
the leftovers.
我说这个
Like
级别
the diamond you're
但
wearing
有
now
一
are all the
天
leftovers.
他
They
们
only
的
want the
当时
big
那
real
个
diamond.
第2代主人就说，
So
哎
their
呀
second
我也这么
generation
巨富了，但
think
是
that
我呢
I'm
不
so
是个
rich
花花
now.
公子，我就想，我还要拉到最大的钻石矿，我也找到印度最好的钻石矿，
I still want to
就是一
find
种感觉。
India's biggest diamond mine.
对，完了之后，在他们家的不远处有一个坐在那儿，
So
有个修行的
at
一
a
个人，
place
应
not
该是
far
一个
from
和
their
尚。
place, not far from their
那
home,
么他呢，
there's a
因为印度修行人
meditator,
特别多，他也不知道找谁合适，
like a
他也曾
priest.
经走到这个老人
So
跟前，
he went up
来
to
请
this
教人。
person and asked
哎
him,
我想找到世界上最大的
I
钻
want
石
to
矿。
find the world's biggest diamond
那个
mine.
人，那被请教的这位大法师也不吭声，也就是
And
看
the
你看
guru
你对我的供养怎么
Doesn't
样。
say anything.
印度人眼珠又大嘛，
He was
多转两圈都
waiting
看了
to
看
see
我的这个大碟子，
what is this offering to
这人
him.
说
So he looked at his
掏
bowl
了
in
块
front of
金
him,
子啊，
and the man took
哎
out
这太大扔
a
进去，
piece of gold
找
and
了一个
saying
最
it's
小
too
的，
big, so
因
he
为
find
这
a
个师
smaller
傅
one.
他就不知道他是谁，身上脏的
Because he
脏兮
doesn't know
兮
who
的
this
哈，
guru is. He
因为
looks so
很多苦修者
dirty.
吧，
Because
他
at
5、
that
6 年
time
没
there
洗
were a
过
lot
澡，
of people
那
who
脏的不
just
得了啊，那头发
meditators.
就
They
跟
don't
你几
shower.
天
They
洗
are
一次头
dirty.
呀，1天洗2次哈，
反正我5、6年肯定得
对
洗一次，对。
人家5、6年都没洗一次，
So they probably
那
didn't
身上
even
全
wash
是
their
动物儿，
hair
有狮
for
子、
5 or
豹子、
6 years.
蟑螂、蚂蚱都
So
有，
it's
对
very
不对？
dirty.
那就是脏的，这身上一股臭味儿。
And he may
这么
stink.
臭
His body may
幸
stink
你这
too.
个修行人这咋弄的呀？就找了一个
So
最
he
小的，
find
把
the
金子扔进去，
smallest
找了一块
gold
最小的一块银子，
The smallest silver instead,
在他花
and
园
give
的
it
碟
to
子那里。
him on his plate.
这个修行人也特别
So this
特别实在
meditator
说，以你今天给我
is
的
very
供养来看
practical.
的
He
话
said, according
你
to
得
what you
走
have given
啊
me,
从这里往那里走，一直走6万公里就到了。
you have to walk for
就给他这样说，
60,000 kilometers
这样啊，
to reach the place.
好吧，得让我想一想，结果别人都算不出来，就是他算出来有这么一句话，最后这人真是做了一番准备之后，带上几十个仆人佣人，赶上一大队马车，
So
往
he
他指
took
定的
his
方向走。
servant
等走到那儿之后，
with a lot of
到那个地
servant
方
and the horse
找了一大
carriages,
圈
and he
子
went to that place, the
这那里
location.
根本就没有钻石，
When he reached that
而
location,
且
there was
他
no
带的那些
diamond.
钱哈，很快就糟光了，也
And
叫
the
人骗光
money
了
he bring
又遇上
there
抢匪给他
was
抢光了
cheated.
还遇上当地不懂
He met
他是什么人的人把他关了，
people in the, the
这个3年
local,
监狱
they all
等把他放出
they
来，
all
根本就
cheated
流
him
浪
of his money, and he
跟
was
他们都
even
跑
put to
光了。
jail.
哎，他等路边等死的时候，就在他旁边
So
发现
when he was
有个
waiting
老
to
头
die on the
一看
road,
到老头
he
哎，这不是
found the
你吗？
dirty old man
哎，
beside
你说
him
这
and
个
said,
走了多
"Isn't
少
that
公里之
you?
后，
You
那个
told
地
me if
方
I
就
travel
是一个
to this
世界上有最多的
location,
宝石。
I'll find the
那
world's
老头继续看，
greatest
我的碟子，
diamond."
其实你的供养他。
And the man looked at him and looked at his plate. Where's your
我
offering?
现在哪有钱？我
He said, "I have
你知道我
nothing to give
经
you
历的这些事儿
now.
啊，都叫你给我害的。
You know, after
你
I've
看弄
gone
得我
through
这些
this,
事儿吧，
it
弄
was
得我现在
you
我遇
who
到什么
causes
什
me
么
to
什
be
么
in
问
this
题
current
现
state
在我
now.
身无分文，
I've
跟
no
我的佣
money
人
at
仆人
all.
全跑光了，
And my servants have all left me.
根本啥都没有了。
There's nothing on this land."
结果这个修行人说，
And this
我看你
meditator
还手
say,
上戴了个银戒指
"But I
呢。
can see that you have a silver ring on your
来人妈
finger."
的，真是个混蛋！这
So he said, "Ah, you're
这
really
我凭什
bad.
么给你啊？
Why should I give my ring to you?"
最后想想，也是啊。
After some thought,
当时
You
我是
think,
拥有金山的人，
yeah,
我
I
家里成
had
了
so
一大
much of
房子全是
money
金子
then.
我怎么干嘛给你那么小的一个东西？多抠
Why
啊
did I
这么
give you
自己想
such
想
a
说哎真对不
small
起老神
thing
仙
as offering? I'm so
真对不起
sorry.
我那时候就给你一个最烂的东西，是不是你在耍我啊？那老头儿就坐那不吭声想。
They say, "Is it because I give you something really
我
small?
这
That's
次
why
行吧，你
you
既然是
make
我
fun
身
of
上
me?"
我身上唯一值
And
钱
the
的
meditator
一个
just
破银
smiled.
戒指了
So he said,
啊
"Okay, this is my most precious
给你
possession.
了
The silver ring, I'll give it to you. Because my golden ring and my diamond ring are all stolen off. All my jewelries are gone too. This silver ring is my wife gave it to me when I first got married, when we were poor. I'll give it to you. And the guru said, do you want to be rich? Go home. He said, why should I go home? Your garden is the place. He said, don't trick me. Yeah. So he bring the old man and said, I will pay you when we reach my place. So he bring him on the horse carriage and bring the old man to his home. So the old man went with him. They took a few months to travel home. And he went to the garden and said, where are the diamonds? Where are the diamonds? And the old man said, it's underneath your leg. Why are you looking everywhere? You should look down. He looked down. There was nothing. He said, use your water and flush. So he used the water to flush down where he stands. And immediately he can see a lot of big diamonds, as big as red dates. And there's even color diamonds, colorful diamonds. They are all in his garden. It's almost going mad. And the old man said, calm down, don't worry. He said, if I have this in my garden, why do you send me so far away? He said, it's because there's no way you can dig all this out then. Because you were not respectful to heaven, to gods, and to me. You were rich, you only get to know people who are rich. Even when you look at meditators, you only look at the rich one. You were disrespectful. So you have to go through all this experience. And you may not even have all these riches. But I still felt that in your previous life, you might have already made offering to many, many Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. That's why I gave you all this treasures. This is a true story. And when they dig underneath his garden, they can find the world's most beautiful, most precious diamond. Isn't this fate? Their fate is fated to get rich. But he must also show a huge amount of respectful and offering. When he's poor and he had nothing, he also has to make offering. Even his broken down silver ring. He never thought that this poor silver ring is the only riches that he had after he went away from his hometown. And it's that he offered to the old meditator and made him the richest person. This is a true story. Believe it or not is up to you. This is what I know. This is the benefits from making offering. That's how big the benefit is. Imagine if in the first place he had given all the gold in his pocket and offered to the old meditator, he doesn't even have to travel so far or go through all this. When heaven let you go through all this, it's because you are here to suffer in this life. Even though you are living on earth, you are like living in hell. But if you have all the riches that heaven is giving you, you are like living in heaven even though you are living on earth. So these are my experience that I'm sharing with you.
那师傅，就是我们网友啊，还有好多问题
Our
呀，
live
就关于
broadcast
这
will
个
stop
梦
now.
境啊，还有其他
Hi,
的这个
Master.
问
We
题
still have a
哈
lot of
也想
online
提醒
friends
师
who
傅
have a lot
我们下
of
一次直播
questions
的时候
about
能不能再
interpreting
给大家
dreams.
再
Can
解
we
答一下呀？
continue to share with
同
them
意，因
to
为一起
interpret their
相关的
dreams?
啊，很多的事情啊，
Yes,
大家是不懂得啊。我愿意为大
because there
家
are a lot
做
of
任
things
何
that
事
we
情
do
上的
not
解答，
really
只要我所
understand.
知道的。
I
感
wish
恩师傅。
to help you interpret your
还有
dream
刚
as
才这
long
个
as
晴空
it's
网
something
友
that I
师
know.
傅也送给他一颗珠子吧。
我还忘了呢。
对，小弟都转生都开那
啊
个奔
师傅
驰
，please
1000了都。
好，真是哈。
Give
好，好，
this online friend a
好
gift.
送你2颗。
Give her 2 beads.
2颗8宝灵珠哈。好，祝愿晴空网友
May
呢，
Qing Kong online friend
健康长寿，
enjoy good health
富
and
贵吉
longevity,
祥，佛光普照。
riches and
收到，
auspiciousness,
感
and
恩
may the
师傅。
Buddha light shine upon.
好，祝福所有的网友朋友
May
都
all
能
online
吉祥如
friends
意，
be
健
auspicious,
康长寿，
enjoying good health and
幸福快
longevity,
乐。我们下
be
次直播
happy,
再见。
and we'll see each other in our next online.
让我与您相遇，小小的红点里，人生就此欢喜。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与你相遇，小小的红点里，人生变得神奇。我智慧了，